What's up? This is Derek Brown of the Carolina Panthers. Shout out to Rashad and David of the Panther Nation podcast. The voice of the Panther Nation. Make sure y'all like them and subscribe. Keep pounding.
Yo, this is Panther legend Jonathan Stewart, and I just wanted to shout out to Rashad Beard and David Rhodes of Panther Nation podcast. The voice of the Panther Nation. Keep pounding.
You are now tuned into the Panther Nation podcast.
Delone fires to an open Smith. Steve Smith is going to go all the way. No flag down. Smith scores, and the Carolina Panthers win in overtime.
Seal, here's the Browns. He's intercepted by Kuechly. Kuechly inside the 20 to the 10 and to the end zone for another Panthers.
Welcome to the Panther Nation podcast. And here are your hosts, Rashad Beard and David Rhodes.
Yo, what's good? What's good, everybody? What's popping? It's your boy, Rashad, Panther Nation podcast. Yo, we got a good zone coverage today. It's a lot of people in the arena right now. So, Dave, what's good with you, bro? What's popping?
It's starting to snow in Rhode Island. It is starting to come down. And my daughter's about to learn about the shovel game tomorrow.
Oh, that's messed up, man.
Don't worry. I'll be out there with her, too. One thing I'm good at is supporting.
Not like that, man.
She has to, yo. She's 13. She needs to be out there. She needs to be out there shoveling streets. And she is now staring at me from that way currently.
All right, so we got some new folks joining us today. First off, I want to say to the guy that actually inspired this whole thing. He is in here. Shout out to Kevin, KB. What's up? You want to say something to the people?
Yo, what's going on, guys? Oh, I appreciate that, man. Thanks for the love, but this content's all you, dog, man. Y'all doing a great job, so I'm glad to be on tonight. I appreciate it, and I can't wait to get in and start talking about the Panthers roster.
Absolutely. Eddie, what's up, man? You on every one of these joints. What's up with you, brother? How's it going?
Hey, not much, man. You know, just taking some time away from school just to be able to support, man.
That's what's up, man.
I
appreciate
that time
it.
away from the school anyway, bro.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
But we appreciate it.
My band, Big Bassin. Did I get it right?
Yeah, you got it right.
All right, man. Welcome back. You were just on the show a couple days ago, man. Welcome back. And finally, we got JJ. Panthers culture, what's good? This big time. I feel like I done made it now. We got Panthers culture in the building. Man, what's good with you, bro?
Man, what's good with you, man? I appreciate you bringing me on tonight. Also, to the other brothers on the call, man, it's a pleasure to be here with y'all. I'm very grateful.
Absolutely.
Stopping it up.
Yeah, this is gonna be a good one, man. Listen, this is kind of my wheelhouse. I love the off season. I love getting into this type of content. This is what separates a casual fan from a real fan. When you start to dive into these numbers, you start to really analyze why we can't sign certain people instead of just saying, "Oh man, we should have signed such and such." Well, it's probably a reason why we couldn't afford to sign such and such. And this is the discussions that we need to have as a fan base. So we're just going to get ahead of it. Obviously, 2021, 2021 season isn't going as well. Well, as some people thought, it's going about the way most of us thought. But some of us thought it was going to be a little bit better. But you know, the real recognize real and know what's going on. So it's about what I anticipated for this season. So we're gonna start looking into next season. All right, we're gonna look into next season and see what we can do. Before we get into that, I do want to mention there will be a giveaway at some point during the show. I don't know when it's going to happen, man. But it's going to happen. There will be a giveaway, and all the folks that are in this joint right now, just bear with us. We're going to get to it at some point, probably near the end of the show. And I don't expect to be on here too long. We'll probably give you about an hour and a half, maybe, depending on how the discussion goes. But at some point, there will be a giveaway, and we will get to it whenever I feel like it. I don't know when. Whenever I feel the vibe, that's when I'm going to do it. But real quick, let me go ahead and share my screen. I'm gonna share my screen real quick so y'all can see. Y'all know how I get down with the Excel. Y'all know how when the Excel document come out, something good is about to happen. All right, we about to get into some juicy stuff. So essentially, what I have right now is let me pull up our cap situation because we gotta we got a little bit of issue right now. So let me just zoom in on this for y'all, so y'all can see the salary cap. Is that clear for everybody? So as you can see right now, I'll make it big as possible. So right now in 2020, we are sitting at 4.6 million. All right. So with this 4.6 million, we should be able to roll this over into 2021. That being said, we should be up to about 18 million. It's tight due to COVID. They're projecting the cap to go down due to COVID. Had COVID not hit, we would have been in a really good situation. We would have had about 40, 50 some odd million to play with. But obviously, COVID has impacted the numbers of the league. Therefore, the salary cap is going to go down. So that's kind of why it's tight. And it's tight for everybody. It's not just us. It's people, all the teams all across the league are in a situation. I believe the Saints next year are going to be like 90 million over the cap or something like that. So everybody's going to be messed up. And again, this number is just projected. This is not the actual number. This is just projected. So whenever they release that number, let's hope it's higher than this. But again, if you listen to the interview or read the article where Samir Suleiman spoke about the cap next year, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough for 2021. So that's just what we're looking at. I just wanted to level set. This is kind of where we are going into 2021. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. And so any comments on that before we kind of move on the salary cap situation? Anybody want to impart something?
Yeah, the big thing for me with regards to the salary cap situation is at least it's going to affect everybody. There's going to be some teams that were freaking going Oprah that's going to be suffering next year because they're going to have to make some tough decisions.
Yeah, so it's not just us, man. Unless the league comes in and jumps in and throws out some kind of stimulus package to the NFL teams, it's going to be rough. Okay, it's going to be rough. A lot of these cats going to have to make some real tough decisions. And so, yeah. That being, go ahead.
I'd like to add to that.
Go ahead.
Watching Pro Football Talk this morning, and I don't know if you all saw the news, but they had a meeting today about a 17th game. Part of the leverage of getting the 17th game was to offer, the projected salary cap for 2021 back, because they would anticipate the revenue from the 17th game, not just for 2021, but for all too. And so they were saying if they can get the league to accept the 17th game and, with that revenue, then that may be enough for them to justify raising the cap back up to the expected level. So that's something to watch for. We don't know if that's going to happen, but that was being circulated out there as it might be some negotiation point, that they could actually get the extra revenue from the 17th game.
So the 17th game will be for next season, not this season.
For next season.
Okay, got it. No, that would be great. I think that's a great idea. I mean, I know the players probably wouldn't like it because they got to put their bodies on the line for another game. And I don't know how that went with the negotiations as far as the CBA for last year. But, that would be, from a cap perspective, that would be awesome if they could do that. Right. But I don't know the ins and outs. But that's interesting. I did not know that. I did not hear that. So that's very, very interesting.
And considering all that, with all the teams struggling with the salary cap, if that 17th game, we'll just assume right now that's not going to be in place and they're not able to raise the salary cap, then that's really going to drive the market for some of these high-priced free agents. Some of these high-priced free agents that teams are going to be bidding on, I mean, man, they're going to have to take pay cuts. Either that or they're going to have to sign really small deals, like one. Sure. I think we're going to see a lot of 1-year, 2-year deals.
Yep.
I think we're going to see a lot of big time guys probably re-signing with their same teams, and then just on a 1-year deal or maybe 2 years, and that could work out for the Panthers for someone like Curtis Samuel. I'm sure we'll talk about him later.
Yep. No, exactly. We're going to talk about him amongst others, and that's a good segue into taking a look at the unrestricted free agents for 2021. Now, you guys let me know if you can see that. If you have a hard time seeing it, I can zoom in. Just let me know. So, real quick, this is the 2021 unrestricted free agents. All right, so it's a pretty good list. It's not we got a couple dudes that I'm really focused on re-signing, but other than that, it's really not a lot of guys for us to be pressed to re-sign. Luckily, given the cap situation with COVID and all that, but I do want to focus in on a couple metrics. All right, so I use over the cap, they have a metric where they use the PFF grades to kind of analyze and dictate what a player might be worth versus what they're getting paid. So what I have right here is the current APY. There's the current average salary per year. So that's what they're currently getting paid. I think this includes bonuses as well, but on average, this is what they're currently getting paid. And the next tab here is the value over or under in some cases of their current salary of how they're playing. So for instance, I'm going to sort it, and I think this is it's already sorted by the value over, right? So we can see Taylor Moton's getting paid $1.9 million this year, or $1 million this year, and he's actually playing $15 million over what he should be getting paid. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So his value should be $16 million. For instance, if he's that's exactly what he's looking for, if I'm not mistaken. What the word on the street is that he's looking for about $16 million. So it's not just per year, and it's not to say that this is a number just to kind of. It's not to say that that's the market value. This is just to say that this is the level that he's playing at. It's just to give you a roundabout range. Again, not a target. It's not perfect by any means, but this is just to give you a range around about where a guy should be looking to be paid. All right, so you look at a guy like Taylor Moton, $16 million. Yeah, so and he's playing every bit worth that right now. And you look at a guy like Mike Davis, same. He's playing at about a $10 million level. Rasul Douglas should be paid about $5 million. So that just gives you about a good insight around to what a guy should be getting paid.
I will say a couple things. One, the franchise tag is probably going to be cheaper than that number for Moton.
It's $14 million.
Yeah, so it's $2 million cheaper. Two, Curtis Samuel number ain't as high as I thought it would be, bro.
It's not, and that's what I'm saying. So this number is really based on. It's not based on market value. Once you hit the open market, it changes completely. The game is over at that point. Once you hit the open market, hit free agency, the game changes. All right, the game completely changes. So that's that. Okay, so is there anything interesting on this list that you guys see? look at Russell Okung. He's not, obviously it doesn't take necessarily into account injuries, but obviously Russell Okung ain't playing. He's not even playing that great to begin with, but I guess you couldn't expect him to play that great. He is getting older, but he's about an average left tackle. But there's a couple out here. I was like, man, like obviously Tahir, he's not playing too far under. He's only getting paid $2.5 million. Therefore, he should only be getting paid a little under that. So it's just interesting when you start to look at these numbers. One I'm really kind of concerned about here is JJ, man. This one kind of threw me off. Not this valuation number, but the fact that he's a free agent. He's 34 years old. We haven't had a long snapper. Different. When's the last time we had a different long snapper? Who was the long snapper before JJ? I don't even know.
I don't remember.
That's clue. Crazy. I have no clue either, man. But yeah, I just found it interesting. With this number. And again, is there anybody that you're looking at? You got to be like, all right, we got to re-sign this dude.
Moton.
Other than Moton, because I mean, we know about Moton.
If we can get Samuel for $5 million, shit, I'll try to sign him down.
That's not happening, bro.
I know.
It's not happening.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Definitely Curtis Samuel. Definitely Moton. Maybe Rasul Douglas if you want to keep some symmetry in our secondary for now. On another 1 year or 2 year deal. Rasul's been all right, but.
Yeah, once you start to see the numbers dwindle, when you start re-signing cats, which we'll do a little bit later, it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting. But yeah, I'm on the same page as Mike Davis has been good, but he's about to get paid. He's about to cash in somewhere. He's only 27. I mean, he doesn't have a whole lot of wear and tear on his body. He's having a career year right now, so I think he's going to get paid somewhere else, and it's good for him. Rasul Douglas, I like Rasul. I think we find a way to keep Rasul, honestly. I don't know if it's going to be at that $5 million per year. Obviously, if you can manipulate the number to where that cap figure is low in 2021 and then obviously jumps up, I think we can make that happen with Rasul. But I wouldn't mind re-signing Rasul. Chris Reed, he can walk. Curtis Samuel, I'm a huge fan of Curtis Samuel. Y'all know how I feel about Curtis Samuel, but the way the cap is structured, I don't think there's any way we can make the re-signing happen. And obviously, Samir Suleiman came out and said that earlier today. earlier the other day, where he was like, "Yo, there's no way we could sign Moten and Samuel." Pretty much, he just gave y'all that fair warning. You know what I'm saying? So Chris Manhurst, he can walk. Miller is interesting. I wouldn't mind keeping. I think Miller is okay, but I think we can definitely find his replacement somewhere else. The interior guards are somewhat easier to replace. I'll say that with a little grain of salt, but the left tackle and right tackle, the more premium positions. Let me see. Tyler Larson's solid depth, but
Larson's the guy
Hey,
that I think we probably should consider resigning.
quick question: is this salary cap figure, this estimate, is this including the deductions for our draft picks?
No, the salary cap figure that you saw before. No, it does not include that number. So you have to save the $7 million that's usually saved for the draft picks.
Yeah, so you can deduct $7 million off that projected
Correct.
18, and we're looking
Correct.
at something like $11-12 million is all we're going to have. Hell, I don't even know if we're going to have enough to sign Taylor Moten.
We'll
and
see.
That might be why he hasn't gotten signed yet.
Well, that's true, and we're probably going to be able to find that money somewhere else, and we'll take a look at that in a little. That's a good
segue.
A good segue. Well, not necessarily segue, but yeah, we'll be able to get that money elsewhere.
Exactly.
Go ahead, JJ.
No, I was going to say that. I mean,
bye, KK.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to
Exactly.
mention KK. I hate to say it, but KK is like the prime candidate, to save some of that money with.
Yeah, let me. You know what? Let's go ahead and jump into that. I think that is a good segue, and we can go ahead and get into it. I like using over the cap. Their calculator is a little bit better. Spot Track has one too, but theirs is a little bit quirky. So you know what I'm saying, I like over the cap, and again, it's not perfect, and these numbers sometimes don't jive, but we'll use this the best we can. But as KB said, that when you roll this 18 or when you roll this 4 million over, we're gonna have 18 million or in that range, and that's kind of where you subtract the draft picks, the 7 million for draft picks. So we're sitting at like 11 million realistically before draft, right? So then you got to come and look at these figures. You're like, all right, where can we get the money from? And I hope this is big enough for y'all. I'm trying to make it big as I can without losing the content. But whoops, is that big enough for y'all?
Yep, I can see it.
All right. So now your question is where can we go get the money? Where can we go get the money to kind of potentially sign these other guys? Jared, what's up, man?
What's up, fellas? I just wanted to pop in real quick when I saw Panthers culture.
What's up, bro?
What's happening?
All right. So now we're at where can we find the numbers? All right, where can we find the numbers to kind of make a little bit of a splash? All right. So I think we can all agree that K'Wan Short, I think he's got 1 year deal. 1 year left on his deal after this year, I think. No, this is 2021 is the last year of his deal. All right. So if you just straight up cut him, you're gonna save about, I think it was about 9 million. So that number jumps up to about 23 million, and then plus the 8, or plus the 4, excuse me. So you're about 27 million, and then subtract. And then you have a little bit of space to tag Moten. But where else? I mean, are there other places we can get that money too, though?
I know Pilardi has some money that you can save.
Okay, we'll go to Pilardi. Here's Pilardi right here. He's got 2 million. So we can save 2 million by cutting Pilardi. Charlton is playing well, and I think we have an exclusive tag on him, so it won't be difficult to re-sign him. So I'm in agreement. I think we can go get take Pilardi away. Where else?
Weatherly.
I'm thinking Steve. Yeah, I was gonna say Weatherly.
Yeah, Weatherly.
You could save 5 million for Weatherly, or 6 million, close to 6 million for Weatherly.
Trey Boston, he's not playing good.
So Trey, I don't think, and it's not very advantageous to cut him just yet. And I think Trey is playing okay. I'm not going to say cut Trey. I mean, he's not being paid $6 million. I mean, that's not a bad number. I keep him around, but I would look at Justin Burris though.
How about Burris? Yeah.
Justin Burris paid $4 million. Let's say we slide Chin to safety, to strong safety anyway. That's what you get rid of Burris. You draft a linebacker, move Chin out there for good. You can then Burris becomes expendable. So then you cut Burris. So now we're looking at 35 plus the 4. All right, so plus the 4 that we rolling over, and then subtract
that puts us at 40.
Well, yeah, and then you subtract the 7, you're sitting at about 32 million. That's enough to get some stuff done. So we're not in an awful situation. So again, I just go back to saying all the people that say, and that's given COVID, fam. Like, imagine if we didn't have COVID right now. We would probably have a ton, like there would be a ton of cap space to really make it go. And that's what I'm saying. Like, people keep throwing out, oh, we signed Teddy Reed, Teddy destroying our cap. It's not true. Like, it's just Teddy's not holding us back at all. You know what I'm saying? His contract, he'll get paid $23 million next year. Again, it's not a ton of money when you look in around the league, seeing what these other quarterbacks are getting paid.
It's ranked 15th.
Yeah, he's ranked fit. Yeah, exactly. He's not getting paid that much. Okay, so he's not being paid Carson Wentz money. He's not getting paid
like
Jared Goff
like how
money.
He's playing middle
Exactly.
of the average.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Pat said keep Trey and cut Burrs. Y'all don't like y'all. He don't like Trey. He don't like Trey. But the only reason why I say, because we don't have a free, like we don't have another free. I think the only reason why I'm saying cut Burrs is because we have a redundant skill set in Chin. You move Chin there full time, and then you're able to draft another linebacker. Then you're able to kind of move things around. If you get, let's say we get a Micah Parsons, you're able to move Shaq to where he, well, I don't know where he's still playing outside linebacker, but you can kind of move him around. And then you still got Jermaine Carter. You're kind of playing with the. I say that to say Burris is expendable at that point.
Yeah, so
Chin makes Burris expendable.
What it boils down to is that Burris has a much bigger cap benefit than cutting Boston. Even if you think Burris is playing better in Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have another free. We don't have another free. So this is a good. Sorry, J Stuff 89 J Stuff. Shout out to you, bro. I missed your other super chat, so I appreciate that too. He's saying, do y'all think Shaq will restructure? I think we don't have many restructure candidates. All right, so
no.
When you say restructure means that you typically restructure dudes that's going to be around for a long time. Like when you take a look at his deal, right? I hope
who you should restructure? You know who you should restructure?
Who's that, Dave?
McCaffrey.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to restructure that deal, to be honest with you, because that's going to keep him around longer.
Herney's notorious for doing it. That would be the Herney way. Restructure the running back contract.
Let's hope he's gone, though.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. So listen. So you talk about restructuring. So what you could do essentially is that you could take this cap number and push that guaranteed money and spread it across the rest of the deal. I don't think he's really a restructure candidate. It's just not that much money left in his deal like that. I don't know, man. He could. I think he's probably one of the only restructure candidates we have on the team, though. You know what I'm saying? So he's probably one I would approach to be like, yo, what's good? We got to restructure this deal and spread that money out. But just know that that's gonna keep him around longer. You know what I'm saying? I'll keep him around. And then Teddy, see, I'm saying restructure Teddy. Teddy, if you want, that keeps him around longer. You only restructure guys that you want to keep around for a long period of time. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if y'all want to keep Teddy around. Restructuring Teddy is going to push him to that third year for sure.
Yeah,
it's going to guarantee his salary.
Once I'm gone.
Yeah, it facts. So I don't think too many people are going to be a fan of that. So that being said, again, we got room to make some moves at this point. We got room to make moves at this point. So I don't see any real restructure candidates on this roster right now. That's just me. There's no kind of leaders. You could look at McCaffrey, but I don't know, man.
But either way, right? Like he could potentially do it. Maybe, you could leverage you were hurt, need to prove something, blah, 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 blah. Maybe you can stretch him out a little bit. He might like being in the organization. The organization probably wants to keep him around anyway. You do it. And then you maybe could get a couple million off, cut a couple million off here and there. He's still going to get his money either way.
You could do what they used to do with Luke and, just turn into a big signing bonus. Just be like each year, just shoot, Tepper got it. Just be like, hey, we're going to turn into a signing bonus. Years.
Yeah. Well, he already got like for next year. He's got like almost $7 million.
Yeah, shoot, Tepper write that check.
Nah, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I don't think you'll see too many restructures unless it comes to a situation where they absolutely need to get somebody and they feel that comfortable. Again, with Curtis, I love Curtis, but I think he can definitely be replaced. Like his production be replaced. I'm not too worried about that. You can go get another wide receiver. We got some guys on the roster too that we can. Omar Bailey, yeah, exactly. We'll take a look at that in a second. But yeah, so now we're looking at, you got about 30 million to work. We'll just round it down because after you add the 32 million to work with. All right. So then you take a look at these guys. These are the free agents right here. All right. So Russell Okung, we said we're not gonna really worry about him. John Miller and Mike Davis, we let him walk to here. We definitely not re-signing him. Curtis.
I think we'll sign Larson, man. I think we'll re-sign Larson, bro.
He's a depth piece.
I think we'll re-sign Larson.
Mm-hmm. Corn Elder's an interesting one. We had Corn Elder. You notice he wasn't on our list. The reason why he wasn't on our list because we have he's a restricted free agent, so we can get him back if we wanted to. There's a difference between restricted free agents and exclusive rights free agents and unrestricted free agent. We got a little bit more wiggle room with those dudes, so I ain't really, I'm not really worried about that. Worried about Corn, and he can walk. I mean, he's having a better year, possibly because it's his contract year, but dudes typically elevate. So real quick, the franchise tag. We said we were going to franchise tag Moten. So this is what happens when you franchise tag Moten. And I see Jared's big super chat. I'm gonna get to it in 1 second. So when you franchise tag Moten, it's going to bring you to that number is 14 million, right?
So
guaranteed. That brings all guaranteed. Yep. You would hope that the franchise tag just allows them or gives them time to get something done. You got to get a deal done with Moten, man. It's unacceptable this dude is not re-signed right now, and I think you really got to get a deal done. Real quick, let me get to this super chat. Shout out to Jared. Again, Jared always stimulates this podcast, so I appreciate it, bro. He said, shout out to Panthers culture for joining the show. I need to purchase more apparel. Yeah, shout out to, man, drop that link in here too. I know you got the shop. Drop that link in here. We'll get that up here and y'all take a look at the store. Pay Moten, pay Samuel, Level Panthers Pie. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that, Jared. We got to get that shop link in here. We'll get that joint so y'all can. You got the nice hoodie on, the nice swag. I saw that joint. I got to order me one. But all right, so that's what franchise tag and Taylor Moten does, and essentially you subtract when you roll over to 4. We send about 18 million at that point. There's still enough room to kind of make some moves. You know what I'm saying? There's still enough to kind of get some of these lower guys like JJ Jansen or I don't know who else did we say? Larson, those kind of guys. There's still enough room. Maybe a Rasul. I don't know. Jamison already got paid. Trent Scott,
maybe FA.
Yeah, FA. There's still some room. So it's not like woe is me as far as our draft position. I mean, our stock salary cap situation goes. But real quick, before we go to that, I wanted to show some of these restricted free agents that we have because I think I got a sneaking suspicion about something. Y'all could tell me if I'm tripping or not. But I have a sneaking suspicion because your boy Matt Rule came out today and was like, Trenton Scott is gonna be starting left tackle because Russell Okung may not go on Saturday. Mm-hmm. So Greg Little is, he's in a doghouse. So it is what it is. But this dude's a restricted free agent. All right, so we got his rights. Do you guys think that we're gonna let this dude be our left tackle next year?
Possibly if we don't draft one in the first round.
It depends. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree. I think if we don't go in the first round, which I don't anticipate we're going to do, and we don't get a steal in like the second or the third, like I know there's a couple of second round candidates out there like Leatherwood and Mox appear to be dropping to the second. Carmen out of Clemson, he's dropping to the second round, and a lot of mocks. If you don't get one of those, early guys like Sewell and or Leatherwood or somebody like that, then I think Matt Rule is going to go with a guy he trusts, in this offense. And Green appears to be that guy for him.
Yeah, man. No, I think this dude. And see, this, and everybody keeps crying about getting a quarterback. I mean, this is how you get quarterbacks killed, bro. Like you keep.
We about to revert to that jersey, bro. we about to transition to that jersey, man.
Yeah, man. Like, yo, this is how you, and this is why we keep saying everybody's crying about drafting the quarterback, but this is why we keep saying adjust the offensive line. You haven't even re-signed Moulton yet, or I'm assuming that they're going to tag the dude.
They're tagging
Moulton. I hope they tag him.
I don't see unless we somehow get a long-term deal with Moulton. I don't see no scenario that we don't tag Moulton. And if we don't tag Moulton, and if we don't re-sign Moulton or tag Moulton, Hurney got to be out the paint immediately. Out of here. Gone. Kaput.
I think that's an automatic. I think what y'all are saying about Moulton is an automatic. I think that's the reason there's no urgency for doing anything this year. And and on his part too, I think Moulton actually understands that he's going to be franchise tagged. And so, so I'm anticipating that fully. I'm not even worried about the Moulton situation.
So the bigger question is, I'm still a little worried, but the bigger question is you think he's going to play on that franchise tag?
Yeah, I do.
Oh yeah, he definitely will.
I think he is too.
Because of the way the market is.
$14 million? That man, man, he's going to play.
He's going to play.
Man, that price tag is going to keep going up and up.
The only
and
scenario
up and
I see, though, I could see him saying to put a poison pill in the contract where they can't tag him again. I could see that happening.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, that's quarterback moves. That's
no. Other positions do it too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
What I think he'll play under the tag, but I think so we can have leverage. I think Marty Hurney or whoever the GM is, I think they'll draft the guy. Because right tackles are easier to find than left tackles. And so if you can get like a right tackle prospect in the in the fourth round or something like that and develop them for a year, I think Moulton he's a third rounder, right?
I think Moulton was second.
He's a second rounder, late second rounder. Mm-hmm. And so, but either way, you can find a guy and potentially have him prepped up, and then you might have some leverage going into 2022. But I definitely think he's playing, and and I think if the organization doesn't draft a guy in 2021. Then they'll definitely be prioritizing that in 2022.
Yeah, I'm just concerned, man. I'm concerned about this offensive line. Just hold that thought because I have an actual projected starting offense and defense. We'll get to that in a second, but any couple things here. Just the restricted free agents again. Just to explain for those that don't know what restricted free agents are. Essentially, we get a first right of refusal, which means that if another team offers them a contract, we get to match it. And if we don't match it, they get to go sign with the other team. But it gives us essentially the rights to that player. An exclusive rights free agent essentially means that you signing with us. And if you're not signing with us, you can't really sign anywhere else. It's for lack of a better term, that's really, really what it is. I mean, that's what we had with Kyle Allen. Either you sign with us or you're not signing at all. That's essentially what it is for exclusive rights. And you can see Kenny Robinson exclusive rights. Larkin, which is he's playing okay. I like Larkin. I think he's a solid depth piece. Colin Thompson's exclusive rights. Bonifant, that's why he hasn't gone anywhere. Joey Slide's exclusive rights. So we have some guys that aren't going nowhere that they're going to sign with us with a really small contract. So just keep an eye on that. Anybody want to say anything about these exclusive rights? Or these free agents that we have control over, or somewhat control over?
I think I'm a little confused about the Kenny Robinson situation.
Yeah, so the thing with Kenny Robinson is that he got cut. So I think
back in.
we brought him back, and when we signed him, that changed his contract. That's why he's exclusive rights free agent, and he doesn't have a 4-year deal. You know what I'm saying? We cut him. And then he signed another contract, and that just essentially reset. And we had to eat some dead money for that too. So that's why it kind of offsets. We ate dead money for cutting him, then we re-signed him to a whole nother contract. So that's why he's a free agent, exclusive rights free agent in 2021.
Got it.
Make sense?
Yep.
So all right. So real quick, if there's no more questions on that, I want to get into these positions because this is where it gets scary. And I started looking at this, and I was like, man. This is no bueno, and then this is where we start talking about how there are other holes, and the roster just is not in a good position. And we'll go position by position, and you guys are just feel free to jump in and make your comments wherever you want to. We'll start with quarterback, and I will sort by PFF grade. And the PFF grade is the accurate PFF grade as it pertains to last week. So it's up to date, and obviously that will change throughout the year. So it's subject to change. All right. So Teddy Bridgewater, PJ Walker, Will Grier. We still have 3 quarterbacks. Everybody wants us to draft another one. I have no problem with that. If the right person falls, I don't have a problem with drafting the quarterback. That's what I've been saying. Been maintaining that position this entire time. If you have the right guy, I'm okay with it. I have some concerns, but I'm okay with it. Any thoughts on these quarterbacks and their contracts? We have everybody locked up essentially for the next couple years, which is why I don't think we're going to draft a quarterback. But any thoughts?
What are we doing with Will Grier? Is he ever going? Just him in general. Just seeing him makes my ass itch. It's just like I don't.
Mine too.
It's just trying to figure out what the Panthers want to do with him. He's QB3 at the moment.
Well, he's going to be on the roster, right? Because there's no point if at best he's the third quarterback and you're going to still have Phillip Walker still on the roster. There's PJ Walker. There's absolutely no reason to let that man go because he's going to never see the field. It's already a foregone conclusion that he couldn't beat out the XFL MVP from last season. So this is where he's going to be. He's been relegated to third quarterback unless somebody is willing to trade for him. But obviously that's not going to happen.
I think he could get a trade for him. I think you could get like a 6th or 7th round pick for him.
Lost him.
Well, I think the only way you're going to get a 6th or 7th round is if he plays. I mean, he's got to showcase something to other NFL teams to make them want to go get him. So, like, him just sitting on the depth chart does us no good. And I know Matt Rule said, like, oh, we're not going to do, like, this revolving door of starting lineups for the rest of the season. He wants to keep his core starters out there. I disagree with that. Now is the time to let some of these backups play and get some of that trade bait going in some of NFL head coach and GM's minds.
I disagree I disagree with that. Let me real quick, Dave. I disagree with playing Will Grier or PJ Walker right now because I think every snap matters, right? If you gotta give these let these dudes get their chemistry right. I know it's 14 seasons in, and if they really believe, and this is not me saying this is not me. Matt Rule said it. If he really believes that Teddy's his guy, then why would you sit him to not develop that chemistry? Every starting snap matters. Every snap that you play in NFL matters. It just helps with that chemistry. You can see dudes is not on the same page, right? Whether it's Teddy or whether it's DJ, whether it's receivers, whatever. Dudes is not on the right page. So that's why I agree that if you don't think Teddy's your dude, sure, let's see other cats. But if this dude clearly sees as Teddy as his guy, so he's not going to sit him. He's not going to sit him.
He's not going to sit him.
No, and then on top of that, like you really don't have too much leverage. You're not going to get that much for Will Grier at this point. Like people are bringing in the chat about Kyle Allen, but the thing about Kyle Allen is that Rivera didn't have an issue with Kyle Allen, so of course you knew Washington was going to go after him.
And he was forced to play. Kyle Allen would have never been traded if he wasn't forced to play. He was forced to play due to injury. So it's a completely different scenario.
Well, let me say this real quick. You all know, that these scouts and, some of these offensive coaches and, and quarterback whisperers, they all believe that they can fix a quarterback. That's true. And Will Grier, albeit, he hasn't shown anything to the Panthers, in the game and the quarter that we saw him play last year or the preseason. But there's still scouts out there. There's still offensive coaches. There's still people with connections who still believe, like, this guy could be a guy if we could just get him in here. And so for one of these teams that, they may have, 2 6th-round picks, from some previous draft or something, they may just throw it out there as a flyer. Like, look, let's take a flyer on Will Grier. I'm not saying that they're going to do that. I'm just saying that there's potential for that. And even in Washington, like they gave a 5th-round pick for Kyle Allen. I'm not saying that Scott Turner loves Will Grier, but we know that the Turners wanted him. That's why he was drafted in Carolina. And so, No, they may throw a 7th round pick because look at their situation. They're going to get rid of Alex Smith in Washington next year. I don't see my man Haskins staying around, after this year. They're probably going to try to trade him away for something. And so it could be a team out there like that, or somebody else that we're not tracking who was in love with Will Greer and was just waiting for him to drop to them. And they believe that they can work with him. And so I'll say that he still has a 6th round or a 7th round return, for who he is. And, but otherwise, I agree with the other gentleman, like, yeah, just let him stay on the roster. But I think you have to do something with him. Either let him go and figure it out, or
you don't have to. You don't, because he's there. He couldn't beat out PJ Walker.
I mean, but you got to remember, guys. I mean, Matt Rule didn't draft this cat. Like, so he has no allegiance to this dude. He doesn't have to do anything with him. Yeah, you could try to swing a trade for him somewhere. I just think it's going to be tough, especially this year. There's a lot of quarterbacks out there.
But check this scenario out.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I was going to say, check this scenario out. What if we don't go quarterback, in the first round like a lot of people want? And like you said earlier, I wouldn't be upset if they did that. If there are guys there based on where we're drafting at, I'll get with it. Whoever they draft, it'll be cool. But let's say they go a different route in the first round and the second round, and they go get one of these lesser named guys like Jamie Newman in the 3rd round, or, somebody like that, somebody that's available late in the draft, Kelly Mond as a project. Then you probably have to do something with Will Greer. You're not going to keep 4 quarterbacks on the roster.
That's true.
I agree there.
Yeah.
But if we don't go after a quarterback in this draft, and there's no guarantee that that's going to happen as much as the fan base wants it.
Right.
But I don't think the fan base wants those top tier guys in the first round.
They do.
I don't think the fan base wants somebody later in the rounds.
Yeah, no.
Hell no.
So my thing is this: if they're gonna go after a quarterback, yes, Greer's out the paint. But at the same time, I don't think that's gonna happen. So
I'm surprised
if that's not gonna happen, Greer's gonna be on the roster as the
third
quarterback on the team.
I'm surprised dudes ain't screaming for Tommy Stevens at this point, bro. Let's see Tommy Stevens at this. Let's see what he's got.
Hey, look, man, they're emotional, but they're not
crazy.
Actually,
Marcus just mentioned Tommy Stevens, so
yeah, that's funny.
They're emotional. They're not crazy though.
No, you just made a great point though, man. Like the fan base, I think we do. We want the top tier quarterbacks. I don't want Kyle Trask, man. I don't want to waste a 2nd or a 3rd on Kellen Mond or Jones, Alabama, or Zach Wilson. No, man. It's one of the top 3 guys, or it's no quarterback at all.
But the fan base's denial is going to be unbelievable when we go to this draft in April.
And
we don't take no quarterback.
Yeah.
We draft either a linebacker or an offensive lineman in the first round.
They're gonna split. It's gonna be crazy.
Lose their shit. But then all of a sudden, if we're like actually super competitive, we actually pull out those wins next season. Y'all still won't give Teddy the credit.
They won't. You won't. They won't. Absolutely not. They won't. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think fans will lose their shit more if we go and draft a quarterback in the 2nd round. I think that's what fans will lose their shit over more. I don't want to see Kyle Trask in the 2nd round.
Me and Rashad will be live streaming, and we're gonna be here for it.
I'm dying. Yo, I cannot wait. I'm here for it.
I'm going to be here for it. I cannot wait.
Somebody brought up a valid point, man, about one of the 2nd round prospects, and people need to hear it because it can come to fruition. Mac Jones was recruited at Alabama when Jake Peets was the assistant down there with Saban.
And
so
I think
he knows Mac.
And on top of that, to add to that, I think Matt Rule recruited Mac. So I think there's a lot of Mac Jones connections.
Oh God, please no, please.
Look, man, it'll be great. We get this guy. You know what I'm saying? All these Panther quarterback want truthers will be happy because you trust the coaching staff. Because a lot of the folks who want this quarterback trust the coaching staff.
That's true.
So if you end up with this guy that Rule tried to recruit, it's perfect.
But
all the truthers will be seen.
The issue is if you get into a little bit more of a deeper, NFL theory kind of mindset, whereas you want the quarterback of your franchise nowadays to be far more athletic now than 10 years ago. Carson Wentz is on his way out the door in Philadelphia because he's not mobile. Matt Ryan, Atlanta's trying to figure out how to get Matt Ryan out of there.
Carson can move,
Ryan
though.
Tannehill,
Carson
Ryan
can move.
Tannehill is a system quarterback. Ryan Tannehill only thrives because of Derrick Henry. So to get a guy like Mac Jones or somebody unathletic at quarterback, then I mean you're wasting your time. You need an athletic quarterback who can move around in the pocket. It doesn't need to be a Justin Fields, but someone like Trey Lance, Trevor Lawrence, that's athletic enough and mobile enough to make your franchise succeed.
Let me push back.
Is not going out of Philadelphia because he doesn't have the legs. Carson Wentz is going out of Philadelphia because he's just not that good, and he couldn't stay healthy to save his life.
Yeah, no, I'll push it back a little bit on that. I think Carson Wentz can definitely move. That's not the problem. He can move. He just got hurt. And then number two, I think that yes, when you're not going to invest in the offensive line, you absolutely need a mobile quarterback. But I don't think it's necessary to absolutely. Look what Nick Foles did. He's definitely not mobile. They had a damn good offensive line. You have to figure. You have to invest in one or the other. Either you're going to invest in your offensive line
and a pretty good defense that doesn't get enough credit.
Hold. Give me 1 second, because you brought up Ryan Tannehill, which is a great another.
Can run?
Hold on. Speaks to my point in that. Yo, he's got a hell of a running game. He got a good offensive line, and he's got a hell of a defense. That's what you do when you have average quarterbacks, and then you can be successful.
And Tannehill can run. Dude was a wide receiver. People forget about that.
Well, but I think the key is it's not like you don't have to be one of these super athletic guys that runs like a 4.7, 4.6, 4.5 and can get you 40, 50 yards. I think you just have to be good in the pocket. Like the best that I've seen do it, and this is with no homer bias or anything, but I've been saying this for the last 10 years, is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has the best pocket presence, the best like escapability, without being super duper athletic. I think when you draft a guy, he's just really he's really elusive in the pocket. He's agile. He can throw on the run. I think more so than being able to take off and get 50 yards. You just have to be able to move in the pocket well. And I know the days of the statue quarterbacks may be gone, like Matt Ryan's. The Tom Brady's, Peyton Manning's, all those guys might be going out the door, but you can still manipulate the pocket and move and escape without being a crazy athlete. So I haven't watched Mac Jones a lot, and I'm not stuck on him by any means. I was just making the association, to the current staff. But I'm an old school guy. I know that there's value in finding these dynamic athletes who can also play quarterback, but I'm not sold that that's the only way yet. And I may get there, but right now I think, you can still win with a guy who can stay in the pocket, make an accurate throw. But as you said earlier, if you're going to go with a guy like that, then you have to have the type of organization that's smart enough to say, okay, my guy isn't a crazy athlete, so I have to get me a great left tackle, a great right tackle, a great left guard, right guard, center, and we're going to protect this guy.
See, most people think that most people are of the belief that you can just get a quarterback and just stick him in there and he can just run for his life. And that's not how it works. We've had we had the great Cam Newton here all this time, and it just blows my mind. It just blows my mind how we witnessed Cam Newton get destroyed year after year after year without investing in the offensive line, but everybody just wants to get another quarterback. Like you gotta fix.
No, all I'm gonna say is this. Let me just say this. Everybody keeps saying we gotta have a mobile quarterback to win a Super Bowl, and I understand that Mahomes just won a Super Bowl, but the reason why Mahomes won the Super Bowl was because of his pocket presence, his ability to throw the ball in the pocket. If you look at the last set of quarterbacks who have won Super Bowls, most of them aren't mobile. Brady's won 2 out of the last 5. So you got to take all that into consideration too.
It's been Mahomes, and you keep going back, to who has won the Super Bowl for the last decade. Out of everybody who's won the Super Bowl, over the last decade, I think Russell Wilson, who at the time wasn't as dynamic as he is now,
definitely not.
He was the most mobile. He was the most mobile quarterback in the whole decade. I think. Let me say this. let me say this real quick, and I think this is more to the Panthers fans watching. We talk a lot about, who we have now, who we want going, forward, and then there's a lot of time and a lot of energy spent every day on Panthers Twitter about, the guy who we don't have anymore, and that's Cam. Man, we love Cam. I think everybody on this call love Cam Newton.
Mm-hmm.
But I think watching Cam for 8 years, almost 9 years, be as dynamic as he was, being able to escape the pocket, being able to break off a 50, 60, 70-yard run, or even the 5 and 10-yard runs, that masked the fact that we didn't have a great offensive line. We got so used to seeing a guy that didn't need that. So now fans have this warped sense of what it takes to be a great quarterback in the NFL, and they associate it has to be a guy who can do all of those things. And I know that, Teddy, isn't that guy. He'll never be that guy. He has some mobility, but it's more straight line. He's not going to break the guy down in the pocket, spin around, and then take off for 20 yards. But you don't have to have a guy that can do that. You just have to have a guy that can escape, throw on the run, make a guy miss, climb the pocket, and still be accurate when they do that. And so I think, our fans, because we've seen a certain type of guy for so long, we think that you have to have that in your repertoire. And I just don't think you have to have that. Maybe the guy has to be better than Teddy. I could get with that, if that's the way that we go. But I don't think that you have to be as dynamic as Cam Newton.
No, I agree. All I'll say, not to get too off track, but all I'll say is that I think the most successful quarterbacks right now in the NFL have very good mobility. They are athletes. Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, even Josh Allen, who's completing over 70% of his passes. He's very mobile.
He is.
You don't have to have a freak athlete like Cam, but you do have to have guys, or even Aaron Rodgers, who is sneaky agile. He's not going to run a 4.8, but he's very, very quick on his feet and good pocket presence. I just feel like if we get a statue guy, if we get a guy who's a guy's going to be our franchise guy, needs to have mobility. And despite how good or bad the offensive line is, you need that threat now in the NFL to keep safeties and to keep those outside linebackers honest to open up, especially with the system that we run.
But the problem is having a guy that's not a statue is not going to be enough. Like Mahomes is not a statue. But Mahomes had a pretty good defense.
Yes.
Mahomes had a pretty good line.
Yeah.
And Mahomes is generational too. Mahomes is generational.
A generational guy.
Like we can't compare anybody to Mahomes.
But let's go back. But we'll name other folks. Russell Wilson, mobile quarterback. He had the Legion of Boom when he won that chip.
Facts. That defense was elite.
Yeah.
Elite defense.
So
elite
you gotta
defense.
all these quarterbacks have to have help. All these mobile quarterbacks have to have help.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
And even the statues, like your Tom Brady's, had a freaking mad scientist as a head coach.
Man, you speaking so fast right now that the fan base, if I tweet
ain't trying to hear it.
They don't want to hear it, because think about all the champions, again, over the last decade, and you look at each team.
I've done it. I've done the analysis.
There's only one team that didn't have a great defense, but they had a very improved defense that was very opportunistic, and that was last year with Kansas City. Every team before that, over the last decade, had a good defense.
Good to great.
To their Super Bowl. If you go back to Denver in 2015, that beat us. Seattle the year before that. I think the year before that, you had who was it? It was Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
And so,
hold on.
and then you go back to like the Giants. All these teams had solid defenses. If they didn't have like a fully complete defense, they had a great front seven or a great front four. And so that's the other element of winning. And even for the Panthers, when we were best, we had a top 6, top 3 defense.
The quarterback's up here for you guys.
Here it is right here. So this is the quarterbacks and the teams that won the past 10 years, and then this is their defensive ranking. So again, you talk about statue quarterbacks. Tom Brady, I think again, that system is great. But Mahomes, that defense got hot in the playoffs.
Close it out.
They got
hot near the end of the season.
Even just look at what we went against the Broncos, right? When the Broncos won.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Their offense, their defense was like elite, world beating.
I'll never forget when I was watching preseason of that Broncos defense, and I thought to myself, that defense is good, really good.
Right.
And
So
it was good all year.
Yeah. So all right, let's move on because I didn't want to jump too far into a quarterback conversation. But it's a good conversation. Go ahead, Eddie.
Let me get one word in. I think that in terms of quarterbacks, I think that in general, quarterbacks are becoming more athletic. I mean, y'all talk about the Tom Brady's and the Matt Ryans and the older quarterbacks, but that was 10 plus years ago. Those quarterbacks have been in the league a while. So I think now you just have, even Mac Jones has some type of athleticism to him, but still I think the whole getting an athletic quarterback, I feel it's going to come. It's just how athletic is the thing about it.
So you say by default, like average quarterback starting in college nowadays is going to have some athleticism.
Yes, I agree with that. Yes, I agree with that assessment. I definitely agree with that. Most QBs coming out now can move. They can run, and they're somewhat athletic. Most of them coming out. Even you look at Trask, all those guys can run. Wilson, all of them cats can run. All right, so let's move on. Great conversation though. I didn't want to jump too deep in that, but we're good. Go ahead, Dave.
Step out for like 30 seconds.
All right, so we got the running backs again. Mike Davis is not going to be around, and we still got Rodney Smith, exclusive rights free agent, Reggie Bonnafon, exclusive rights free agent, and we got Trent Cannon. Christian McCaffrey is going to be around for a while. So, any thoughts on the running back? Obviously, we want Christian McCaffrey to get healthy. Any thoughts on adding another quarterback here? Adding another running back.
No, I don't think so. If anything, in the late rounds, or maybe some kind of free agent, we get somebody who has a different skill set. Someone just slightly different, a change of pace, like a bulldozer type. Like if we can get a guy like you look at like James Robinson out of Jacksonville. He was a undrafted free agent. He can really break tackles and stuff. So if there's a guy out there in one of the later rounds that we can put behind McCaffrey. That can be change of pace, especially in goal lines and fourth down, scenarios where we keep handing the ball up to Arma, and he keeps getting stopped. So, plays like that, situations like that, I think we kind of need a guy. But really, running backs are good to go.
I believe that too. I want to say this about Rodney Smith. I've been impressed with the limited action that we've seen him in, and he does have a little power. So I wouldn't mind, keeping him around, as a depth piece next year.
Yeah, definitely.
For me, I'm looking for that change of pace, dude. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I really like Najee Harris, man. I'm telling you, it's a different type of back, big, powerful. Like that's the kind of back we need. We need a complete opposite change of pace back from McCaffrey. Someone that can really push a pile. Again, we get in these fourth and one situations, these goal line situations, and we've seen it year after year, game after game. You want to talk about losing games at the goal line? We've done that last year too. I remember the Bucs game last year. We handed off to McCaffrey, couldn't get it. We need to get somebody that can really push that joint. So I'm looking for us to bring another running back here that's not on this list because all these guys are solid. I think they have a similar skill set in the Christian McCaffrey, but I'm looking to move it. Like again, Mike Davis is perfect, but he's going to get paid somewhere else. But if we could bring in a bulldozer,
about bringing in Najee Harris, I think he's outstanding, and I think he's perfect for what you're saying. But I don't think he'll last past the early third round, right?
Yeah, he's going to get drafted too soon for us to be able to spin a pick on him. There's no scenario where we draft like a Najee Harris. As much as I would love it, I don't think we'd even utilize him as much in our offense. Our offense is very spread. And if we stay with Brady and Brady stays our OC and doesn't go somewhere else to take a head coaching job, and this is our offense next year, I don't see why we would need someone like Najee Harris that much.
And it's crazy because I hate that because I see guys. I think in this past draft it was like Jonathan Taylor, right, who's a similar style back. Then you have Najee Harris right now, who's a great guy who we can see value for because we've seen how bad we've been in short down situations. But because of this offense and because of how this offense is built around Christian, we can't even invest in a guy who could really help the team because of, to me, I think the politics of having to defeat the Christian. Yes. I wonder, because we played this year without him, for the most part, I wonder if they shift their mindset going into next season about how to properly use him in a platoon type scenario where, he has the lion's share of the carries, but he doesn't have like 90-something% of them. Maybe he has like a 60-40 split or a 70-30 split going forward.
That's a good point, man, because if you think about it, Christian could, if we were to let Curtis Samuel go, Christian can operate as that number 3 slot wide receiver. I mean, Christian really can. So if we were going to do, like Rashad said, and get like a Najee Harris in like the 3rd round or so, honestly, it would just, as long as we change our offense to utilize our best players to their proper skill sets, and we let Samuel go, CMC fills in the slot, and you got Najee Harris back there. I mean, dude, I would be totally down for that, but I just don't want to waste a pick on a guy or a position that we're not going to use to its potential, especially a high pick.
Shout out to Antoine. Real quick, let me shout out to Antoine real quick. Thanks for the super chat. Real quick, I want to say that I think you see the coaching staff already going in that direction as far as splitting the backfield. Think about what happened when Christian McCaffrey went down. Mike Davis comes in. He got all the snaps, all of them. And then I don't know when the switch happened. At some point, you started to see Trent Cannon get some snaps. You saw 3 guys getting the ball. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely think you're starting to see them be like, we can't give one running back all the carries. That's just you're gonna destroy him. But at the same time, you invested all this money into C-Mac. Can you not take him off the field? Can you take him off the field? You invested all. You can't run a dude into the ground and then pay him for production he's never going to meet because he's not on the field. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, I said that when they gave him the money. I was one of these guys that, some of Panthers Twitter hated me because I was very against giving him the highest contract in the league, especially given the state of our roster. But that's over and done with now. So now we have him, right? So it's like, how do you give Christian the proper amount of touches to justify the contract?
You can't.
All we were told was that he was more than a running back. He can, he can run routes like a receiver. He can be a wide receiver. I'm ready to put that to the test. Like, let's get past him needing to have 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving, or any kind of benchmark in terms of a statistic. Let's just keep him on the field. So, like what my man said earlier, if Curtis walks, there's no reason why Christian can't spend, at least 25% of his time in the slot as the 3rd receiver, because that's what you told us he was, right? So let him go get those snaps there. You can still have a dynamic running back in the backfield, taking the running back snaps while Christian is playing the 3rd receiver. The one thing that concerns me when Christian is in the backfield, and I'm not going to go all the way down this rabbit hole, is that I've never seen them use him as a protector in the backfield much. I mean, I know he's picked up some blitzes and stuff, but he's always in a route. So why don't you put him in a position where he can really be in a route, and you can pull in a guy like a Mike Davis, even though he would be gone, but somebody in that mode who can actually be more of a true back. And, and then you can switch things up. You can split that guy up, and you can bring Christian in the backfield and throw defenses off and keep them off balance. I've been wanting to see them use Christian like that.
Yes. What's interesting about that, my fault, not to cut you off. So what's interesting about that is that, I was looking for that too. Like, where are the plays where Christian McCaffrey lined up in the slot? We were all excited to see what the hell Joe Brady's going to do with C-Mac. And to me, it just looked the same. Like, we didn't do anything different, albeit limited. It was limited. It was 4 games. But I'm looking for this dude to be used all over the field in this magic Joe Brady system. And it never came. So, like, I don't understand.
The crazy part is Scott Turner may have used him better.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But
I don't think because we had no preseason games, I just don't think we were able to dive that deep into the playbook, and you really don't want to pardon my language, blow your load on all of your plays at the beginning, your first couple games, especially without a preseason. So I think they were just trying to develop an offensive identity before they add a little bit of trickery or special case scenarios.
Yeah.
And one thing I'll say is, y'all remember Jordan Scarlett when we drafted him?
I do.
A couple years back.
Yep.
And I was just, I guess with no preseason, that really messed him up because, with our team, he would have been along that, I guess, potentially that number 2 running back, or he probably was, that's what he was thought of behind Christian. But with him being gone, and I guess this would have been the opportunity for him with Christian being hurt to show what he can do. And that would have probably lessened the blow of trying to figure out what's going to happen next at running back behind Christian if we would have had a preseason and Jordan Scarlett would have been able to show what he could do.
I don't know, but it's interesting. Shout out to J Stubbs. He says, "I truly believe we're low managing Christian." I think that's going to happen too. I think he's going to get low managed, and he will never. I think, and I this is just me, and it's not. I think Christian McCaffrey is a great running back / wide receiver, whatever you want to call him. I think he's super talented. I'm just going to say this: I don't think Christian McCaffrey is ever going to duplicate the numbers he had last year. It's never going to happen again. He's not going to go for 1,000 yards. He's not just going to see that many touches. That's just my opinion. I don't know.
I think they're gonna try again, but I don't think so. I think players, when they get that big deal, the injury's a little bit different when players get those big deals, man. And I'm not saying he's not hurt. I'm just saying it's a difference when you're on a rookie deal and you're injured versus being on a big deal and you're injured.
Hey, I say this,
deal,
bro.
Huh?
I say this. No, I'm laughing at what you're saying because, I mean, you've all been there, right? I know for me personally, I've been through the struggle, right? And so I know when I didn't have money, I was a little bit more reckless. But I got a little bit of money in my pocket. And I'm like, oh, no, I need to kind of chill out a little bit. You know what I'm
that's true.
Mm-hmm. I got something to protect. And so I'm just saying, people are hungrier when they're hungry. You know what I mean?
That's true.
After you get something to eat, then you don't necessarily, go at it like you did before you had something to eat. And so I think Christian is in a different place now. I'm not saying that, I'm sure he wants to play. Everybody talks about Christian, talks about, the competitor that he is. But what you're saying is true. When you get your money, you look at it a little bit different.
It's different,
all right, man. Let's wrap up this C-Mac and running back discussion because I don't want to get in too deep. But go ahead, Eddie.
If I know a lot of people have said before about, we could take in a running back later that year, be it a Dalvin or a Aaron Jones or people like that. If they would have produced I guess my question is, if they would have produced like Christian has, do you think we would have been in the same situation with paying a running back long term?
Because Marty Hern's still the GM. Yep. Right. Yep.
I was just trying to make sure because I know some people have been like, we paid him too much, but we probably would have been in the same situation had it been
if we would have drafted Derrick Henry
or Alvin Kamara or anybody.
Let me say them. This is
there's nothing better for Marty Herney to do but to overpay a running back. Nothing better.
This is what I got to say to that, though. You're right. Aaron Jones, these guys, they've been special. Cook, all of them. But I think because the Panthers raised the bar to $16 million, I think after the Super Bowl this year, when you looked at Williams from Kansas City, Mostert from San Francisco, being undrafted free agents, and the fact that they were so productive, without a big paycheck, I think the general consensus around the league was that you don't have to go and pay these guys, especially after seeing Gurley and Zeke. But the Panthers, in my opinion, I hate to say it like this, forgive me, y'all, but I think we were the goofiest of them all.
Yep.
By raising the ceiling when the market was saying that you don't have to overpay. I think we could have paid Christian or any other franchise would have paid somebody like Christian around 13 to 14 million.
But the thing that I was annoyed about the whole situation is the fact that we paid Christian and it's the same GM that paid D'Angelo. It's the same GM that paid Jonathan Stewart. So he didn't learn nothing. Nothing.
No, he did.
Nothing.
All right, we got to move on from the running backs because I don't want to be up here too late either. So, all right, here's the wide receivers. Only thing missing is going to be Curtis Samuel right here. A couple other guys. Farrell Cooper's going to be gone. But one thing we got to watch here is Omar Bayless, a talented kid. We have yet to see him yet live, so it'd be interesting to see what he can do. We still got Kirkwood as a restricted free agent. Could bring him back. Any thoughts on these wide receivers? Yeah, Zylstra's restricted free agent.
Yeah, Zylstra's going to be back for sure.
Yeah. I think Bayless is going to be one to keep an eye on. Hoping he comes back and has a good recovery, doesn't lose any of that speed. Assuming Curtis Samuel's gone, I wouldn't mind getting a big body wide receiver. I'm not talking Kelvin Benjamin or Funches, but more of a Claypool type. Like I'd like to get maybe like a Cornell Powell out of Clemson. He's the number 2 wide receiver right now. and I'm a Clemson homer, but I know that guy has some good size, speed, and hands. So, getting a big body wide receiver in a later round, I think, would be a good way to add to this depth.
I think we just need to draft a wide receiver. I don't know there's a lot of wide receivers out there, but I just want to draft a wide receiver, have them locked up for 4 years, and just be able to have them on the roster. That's just philosophy.
Watching it, looking at this, man, I shame on me for not realizing how dire this position is.
Yeah, it's not as great as everybody thinks it is.
Yeah, we got to draft a guy. Even if we keep saying we got to draft a guy.
Because if we're going to draft one, and then next year you got Robbie Anderson. He got a two-year deal. So you got to start projecting a little bit. Go ahead.
Yeah.
The crazy part is last year's wide receiver group was more rounded than this year. This year is just more top-heavy. I think when people saw that we picked up Robbie Anderson in free agency, they were like, oh, my God, this is the best receiver group we've ever had in Carolina. And while that might have been true, it was only 3 receivers deep. And we saw the effects of that against Chicago when Curtis was out. We saw that last week when DJ was out. These guys that come in as your 4th and 5th receivers really can't change the game. So we compare too much in Carolina to what we didn't have before. And so it's like, okay, we got 3 guys now. Oh my God, this is the best skill group ever. And they are good. But like you just said, like you're looking at this group of names, you're like, man, like these guys below Curtis Samuel really aren't like that. And so we do have to get a lot better in the offseason. And a name to keep your eye on it, we probably can't get him, is the guy Tony from Florida, who can do a lot of things
he's a beast
that Curtis does.
Oh yeah, he feasted. Yeah, he feasted in that last game. He was eating big time.
Only reason why I don't think we get a wide receiver though is we got too many other needs, especially on the offensive line. Like again, if we go quarterback in the first round or not, whatever the case is, I think we're within the first 4 picks, we're gonna have at least 2 offensive linemen. So I just don't know where we would find that value of wide receiver.
But the thing is, everybody keeps screaming quarterback, right? I think wide receiver is a bigger need.
Yeah, I think we can.
Heck no.
I think. I won't say that. I won't say it's a bigger need. I won't say that. But we'll dive into position groups later. But I think you definitely if you can get one, and we don't have to. I think we get stuck in trying to address everything in the first round, right? Everybody looks at the top of it and like, oh, we got to get such and such in the first round. Like there's 7 rounds in the draft. You can get a solid wide receiver somewhere else in the draft. You don't have to get them. And I think wide receiver is definitely deep this year too. It's super deep. It's going to be a really good draft year for wide receivers. So I think we can definitely get one. No problem there. We can get one. But just pay attention that Robbie Anderson, again, he after next year he's gone. So you got to start figuring this out. Curtis Samuel, he's going to be walking most likely unless we figure out how to keep him. Still got some guys, Omar Bayless, so just keep an eye on that. Keith Kirkwood is a guy who knows the system. So just keep an eye on that. Anybody else want to say anything about wide receivers?
I'm ready for your next position group. That's the one.
tight end. Yeah, they all trash.
Trash.
Move on.
I mean, we're going to have one tight end on the roster at the end of this.
Yeah, after this, we only got one on the roster, and that's Ian
Colin
Thomas.
Thompson will probably end up back.
Colin Thompson ended up being back, but I'm caught in this thing where I don't know if it's Joe Brady not using them or they're just not talented enough. I don't know the answer to that, to be honest.
Well, here's an interesting thought.
I think it's the system.
Here's an interesting thought. If we're so short on tight ends, that might get Armory signed and he just plays tight end too.
Now, this. I have a thought on this, right? And the reason I was eager for you to get here is because I've heard rumblings, from, the gutter people that I talk to about how in love the Panthers are with Kyle Pitts from Florida.
Kyle Pitts. I knew you were going to say it. I knew it.
And I know I tweeted it after I had the conversation on Saturday, I believe it was. And then Matt Barrow or whoever the guy is, the draft guy, he put out a mock with the same thing.
At 6.
I think Sunday or Monday or Tuesday, I can't remember.
At 6, right?
He had him at 6. And I was like, that's the same guy that this other guy on Saturday told me. And the guy that I'm talking about, y'all know, but I don't name drop like that. I hit him in the DM and I was surprised he responded, but he responded. And he said, look, the Panthers are, you guys need cornerback and linebacker. He was like, but I know that your scouts your scouts love Kyle Pitts.
Talk about it.
And I was like, woo, that would shake some things up.
The fan base would explode.
They would go crazy.
Explode.
But
and let's be honest, he's not a tight end. He's a wide receiver.
Exactly.
He's going to be that Jimmy Graham he's not so much Travis Kelce, but
Waller.
He's not going to be in line and block very much. He's going to be out in the slot.
So he's a move tight end who was a big target. And people say, Joe Brady's offense doesn't really feature, the tight end that much.
Yeah, boss.
By LSU, but Joe Brady's offense was conceived and basically templated from the Saints offense.
Okay, yeah.
And so when the Saints had a big guy like Jimmy Graham, like Colston, these hybrid 6'4", 228, 230-pound guys, even now with Cook, like that offense goes to the big target, in the seams a lot. But if they don't have a guy who can beat a linebacker or beat a safety, they're not going to force it to him. I think in our case, I don't think Ian Thomas can routinely beat linebackers with his speed, or safety. And I don't think Manhurst is a blocker, man. And I think the dude has hands like bricks. And I know people love him. There's even a Manhurst high, but he's not the type of guy that I believe our current quarterback, Teddy, can trust, in the clutch. And I think more than people understand, and and we're not going to get on the quarterback right now, Teddy doesn't throw to those he doesn't trust.
Yep.
He has to trust you.
We've had that discussion.
Or you won't see the ball. And I really think that was some of the issue he had with DJ early. I don't think he really, not that he didn't trust him as a receiver. I don't think they had enough time to get familiar with each other before the season started. And I don't think he trusted him in game time situations. So fans were going crazy. But I think for Teddy, he needs to trust that guy. I think the Panthers, the staff, Matt Rule, Joe Brady, I think they recognized that they didn't give Teddy Bridgewater a tight end. I think they were hoping that Ian Thomas could be that guy. But I was scared when I saw the opening depth chart for the Panthers in week 1, and it had Manhurst as a starter. I was like, man, they don't trust Thomas.
That was huge. So that's an interesting point. I hear what you're saying. A very interesting point is that maybe the reason why the offense is stagnant and may not be what it is just because maybe Joe Brady doesn't have all the pieces he needs to. And so that's an interesting thought. I've never thought of it that way because yes, we go back and you look at the LSU film. He did have Moss, and you're right about Sean Payton system. They always, look at Cook right now. They always had a tight end, and when they used him, like Jared Cook, go to Jimmy Graham. They always feature Ben Watson. They made Ben Watson. They revived his career, legit. So that's a great point. Great point. Never thought about that.
So let me say it like this. You know what that means, though? Do y'all know what that means?
What's that?
That means we ain't drafting no quarterback.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say, man. Bro, I love Pitts. I love that idea of Pitts. He cannot be a top 5 pick. I'm sorry. There's no justification to drafting a tight end in the top 5.
He won't be, brother. He'll be 6.
But if the season plays out though, if we lose out and the Cowboys and I think it's the Eagles or Chargers win another game, then we're going to be in the top 5. So there's a good chance we could have a top 5 pick. I don't want to waste it. We're not. That's ridiculous. You cannot justify a tight end or even a wide receiver that high with all of our.
Yeah, you can.
Let me
drafted that high.
Let me ask you this question.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
Let me ask you this question though. So we end up with the top 5 pick, right?
Yeah.
Let's say we end up there, but within the first 4 picks, Trevor Lawrence is gone, Justin Fields is gone, and let's say like either Micah Parsons or Zach Wilson is gone, like before 5. So now we're sitting at 5th, knowing that the guy that we love could be had at number 11 or number 12. And that team comes calling down because they want to pick there.
I'm all for a trade down.
Are you willing to trade down so we can?
I love a trade.
Absolutely.
If
we're sitting at 5, absolutely. My top 4 if we had within the top 4 would be Lawrence, Fields, Trey Lance, or Sewell, the offensive tackle out of Oregon. Yeah. Assuming that those 4 guys are gone, then yes, absolutely trade out of the top 5 spot. Absolutely.
Although Parsons at 5 ain't bad, brother.
It ain't bad.
I'd take Parsons at 5 too.
We
got options.
We got options. Or Parsons.
Yeah, Surtain too.
I don't know.
All right, we'll get to the defense. Give us a couple seconds. We talk good discussion about the tight ends though. That's a very good point. With about Pitts and Brady maybe not having. So all right, here we go. So here's the tackles that we have. Yeah, he's awful, man.
And y'all don't want to draft a lineman, man.
So no Okung.
OT, please.
Probably we're looking to franchise tag Moten, and then Trent Scott. He's pretty much the guy. He's better than Little according to the staff. Any thoughts on these tackles?
We need another one.
Yeah, exactly. We need another one.
We need a good one.
I think we talked about that enough. I just think we need another one.
Yeah, we do.
First 2 rounds.
We sign Moten, if I'm being honest.
If we're sitting if we're sitting at 5 and the best left tackles available in that draft, we better take that left tackle. You and these quarterbacks.
Yeah. Again, I said it on I think when we were with C3. I think, everybody's talking about let's get a quarterback for the next 10 years. I'm like, bro, can we get a left tackle that's going to be here for the next 10 years? We haven't addressed it since Jordan Gross. I did a whole episode on it. We did a whole zone coverage just like this on the offensive line. So go back and watch it. Our offensive line play has not been good. Teddy's getting rid of the ball. One of the fastest dudes to get rid of the ball in the league. That's making Joe Brady's system is essentially making the offensive line better than what it is. Just similar to what Cam was doing. We have to finagle our offensive scheme to make sure the offensive line, and everybody's complaining about the dink and dunk. We have to. We don't have a choice because we don't have enough time. And yes, sometimes Teddy does have time and he misses. Fair. He does. This is called like I see it. But again, we need to adjust the offensive line. It needs to happen.
What people don't realize when Teddy has time in our offense, usually it's off of a play action pass where play actions are normally schemed up to provide a little extra protection, right? Like it's rare to see us, go 4 wide or 5 wide and Teddy's just back there all day. Typically is when we keep a running back in the back to pick up a blitz or something, or we do play action. But, our offensive line is what you said. We don't give up a lot of sacks, so, we haven't allowed as many pressures as they did in the past or as many sacks. But most of that is attributed to the offense and the fact that we get the ball out quick, short passes, all the things that the fans hate is the reason why they don't see the negative stats for the offensive line.
Yep, facts. Anything else on the tackles before we get into the guards?
Nope.
All right, let's move it along. So at guard, we're in rough shape. Okay, we don't even have one, not even a restricted free agent here. The only person we have is under contract is Dennis Daly, who can't seem to stay healthy. This man has been in the concussion protocol for it seems like forever. Usually you kind of get out the protocol in a week or so. This man's still in the protocols, missed a couple games since he played. When he did play, he was playing pretty well. So I have some faith in Dennis Daly at playing guard. So I think I like him there. But we do need another guard for sure, and probably need 2 just to make sure because this dude cannot stay healthy. So any thoughts on the guards?
Draft as many as you can, man.
Right. Yeah,
I would again. Yeah. I don't care. It doesn't matter if we draft a quarterback or not in the first round. You need to get at least 2, if not 3, offensive linemen in the first 4 picks.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be pissed if we come out this draft without 2 offensive linemen.
And your point.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I think that's why trade backs work. I think we could use a couple of more picks.
Yep. Agreed.
If our
Go
franchise
ahead,
quarterback or franchise offensive tackle is not there when we pick, definitely trade back.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jared. Oh, was that Eddie? Which one of y'all was saying? I couldn't tell because y'all can't.
No, it was Jay No Cap. But I was just saying that, I'm gonna be pissed if we come out this draft without getting at least 2 O-linemen, whether it be tackle or guard. I think both positions need to be addressed because, like I said, we kind of got holes in both positions right now. With Okung being in and out of the lineup, and like you said, Daly's been kind of hurt all year. So yeah, we gotta address both.
So all right, we're gonna take 2 for linemen. So we got 5 picks left.
Yeah, I'm about to say we only have so many picks too.
Yeah, you only got 7 picks unless you trade back. Again, I think trading back is we've done that scenario in our mock draft, so I think that's definitely a scenario. Quick, go ahead, Dave.
Trading back is the optimal route at this point.
It just depends it's too early. We don't know who's going to be there. Combine hasn't even happened yet, so we don't know who's hot, who's going to shoot up. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. So for center, we got Matt Paradis under contract through 2022. He's playing okay. Had a little rough start last year, but he looks much better this year. Any thoughts on the center position? No Larson. Larson is going to be gone. Well, not going to be gone. We have to make a decision.
I think we're going to resign Larson, man.
Yeah,
because he can play guard too, can't he?
Yes, yeah. Larson can play guard and center. Yeah. Yes,
I think he's going to be back.
I don't know. He's good at it.
The crazy part about Paradis is if Larson can play center, or if you can draft a new center, Paradis, although he's playing better this year than last, I think next year would be the last year of his deal, if I'm correct.
That's correct.
And so,
you're correct. You're correct.
There's some cap savings with Paradis too.
Yeah, that is another thought. I don't know how much it is. We can go back and look at that calculator.
I think I had it somewhere around like $4 million. What we can save with Paradis.
Let me pull it up real quick.
I looked at it.
It's almost $5. It's $5 almost actually. No, you're right. You're right. It's $5 million. Yeah. So yeah, that's a nice amount of cap savings too. So yeah, we can definitely draft one. But again, so here's the thing: we're talking about drafting 4 or 5 offensive linemen. They're all new offensive linemen, and so. I mean,
look at that guy. Look at the guy at the bottom of your list there, Sam Tecklenburg. He came from Baylor.
Yep.
I know Matt Rule would trust him. Now that he's been with the team for a year, off and on the practice squad. What if they're ready to elevate him? Look. If you look at what Matt Rule has done, with his offensive line between starting Reed at left guard, Green at left tackle. You got this guy right here, Tecklenburg sitting in wait. And maybe he's ready to elevate a guy like that next year to take over for a Matt Paradis so you can get that $4 million or $5 million in cap savings.
I don't know, man. I like what Paradis. I don't know if I'm with that. I like Paradis for now. If you're gonna draft somebody, let him sit. I don't know, man. I don't know that I'm prepared for another really bad offensive line performance. We got to improve. So. It's all about continuity at this point. We know centers can play the game for a while. Yeah. And I think Paradis is getting better. That's what I want to see. If he was still trash like he was last year, then I would say let's move on. But he's getting better, and I think I expect him to improve next year as well. But he is getting old. He's 30, so you gotta keep an eye on that.
I mean, the thing with Paradis last year, Paradis was coming off an injury, so now he's 2 years removed. So he could go back to the place he was before that. We'll see.
All right, real quick, before we get into the defense, I need to go ahead and announce in the chat, I need y'all to, for the giveaway, I need y'all to type King Swiper, all right? And I'll pick a winner towards the end. King Swiper is what y'all need to enter. All right, so
King Swiper?
King Swiper, man.
Okay.
They know what I'm talking about. All right, so
I have
let's go.
Thing to say. I would say that between drafting a tackle and a interior lineman, I would say as long as we have 4 of them by the end of undrafted free agency, or the minimum at the end of undrafted free agency, with hopefully 2 of them having been drafted, I feel like that'll be pretty good. If we draft 2 and then pick up 2 in undrafted free agency, that should be a good place to look up from.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so here is the defensive end.
Let me ask you this question before we move on.
Sure. Go ahead.
Real quick. So we have a situation where we could possibly lose Taylor Moton in the offseason, right? Our right tackle.
Yep.
But we also enter in the offseason where we don't have a left tackle.
Yep.
What if you sign the left tackle and let your right tackle walk because it's easier to replace? What would you think about that? It's easier to draft a right tackle than it is a left.
I don't know if it's easier to get either. I don't know. I don't know about the easier thing. But I will say that I want to. What I think we're doing the same thing. I know what Moton is. Yeah. I want to keep Moton. That's a known entity at this point. Okay. I'll take it because I have money sunk into my right tackle. I can draft a left tackle, and you're not overpaying, or you're not having to pay 2 essential high paid tackles. So that's why we need to go and draft one high. Because again, everybody talks about quarterbacks. How many top end left tackles are drafted in the second, third rounds. They're typically taken in the first round.
They are.
So I mean, everybody keeps talking about that. I mean, so again, sink the money into the known entity that you have, and then draft the left tackle. That's my thought. That's how I keep, just because it's known, right? We know what we have.
Okay.
Also, you have teams have actually come out and said that they just line up their best DN over the other team's worst D tackle as well. So it doesn't really matter which one you pay. Like if we pay a left tackle, they're going to just line up on the right tackle. We play right tackle
and try to beat him. You're right.
Tackle. Yeah.
So. You're right.
All right. So defensive ends. Let's check the defensive end out. Any
we actually
any
sitting
thoughts
pretty
there?
Compared to other positions, man. We're not sitting in too bad of a spot. We could use another edge rusher, but at least we got folks under contract next year.
I mean, we said we're gonna get rid of Weatherly, right?
Yeah, we got to drop Weatherly, bro. He got to get out of here.
Is everybody else Miller? Like Gross Montos, Larkin? Well, Larkin, he'll be back. Haynes, Obata, he'll be back. And then we got Brian Burns. I mean, we're good here.
Where are we playing Christian Miller at? Is he off ball?
Yeah, I have him as an outside linebacker. But yeah, that could be where he is. He could be playing edge. He's one of those tweener cats, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But any thoughts on defensive ends? Nope. All right. Nope. See, I think we're okay. I think we do probably need to draft another edge. Marquise ain't really panning out. He's okay in the rotation. I think Gross Montos will get better. He's got to get better on setting that edge, but I'm okay with him continuing to play, and I think he'll get better next year. So I'm okay with the edge guys. Let's see, defensive tackles. Here we are with the defensive tackles. Any thoughts here?
Short gotta go.
Short is gone.
Yeah, Short's gone, and we're gonna have to draft another one to pair up with Brown.
Yeah.
But I like Zach Kerr a lot. He's been balling.
Yeah, Zach Kerr has been balling, and then I like Bravion Roy too. I think we're good for the interior guys. But I mean, you could get better. But if Marvin Wilson is there in like the third round, like we've been seeing in our mocks, I definitely taking Marvin Wilson in the third, no questions asked. But yeah, no, I like where we are with defensive tackles. Again, we invested a lot of draft capital, so we expect to be pat here. We expect to be good. If we're not, we're doing the wrong things with the draft. But let's take a look at the linebacker.
I was just going to say that could be a place where we sign a free agent. You know, there could be a mid-tier defensive tackle free agent that we could sign. So,
one guy that you need to take a look at is Leonard Williams. He may ask too much, but he's somebody that we can consider pairing beside Derrick Brown for the long haul. Leonard Williams from the Giants.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Yes, that could be interesting. Let's see. All right. Linebackers. I think we're kind of in some trouble here.
We got to draft one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're in some trouble here. This is a position where, again.
No. Let's take a quarterback.
Micah Parsons, man.
Yeah, Micah Parsons is the guy, man.
That should be the That should be the pick. If we sitting there at 5 or 6 he's there, we got to take him, bro.
Let me say this, man. For anybody that watches, based on what I do out there, you can go back back to early in the summer where I was pounding the table for Micah Parsons, and a lot of people was like, well, we're not gonna be bad enough to get Micah Parsons, and I was like, well, we never know, but now we are looking at 6th or 5th. Man, if Micah Parsons is there, I'm gonna be in my prayer closet to try to see if we can get Micah Parsons. I mean, that's who I really want. I'm a defensive guy. And this is the thing that mystifies me about the linebacker position. We lost one of the all-time greats last year. Mm-hmm. And I remember last year at the draft, not everybody, but most people wanted Isaiah Simmons out of Clemson, including myself, because we thought that he could fill the void left by Luke. We went Derrick Brown, which I respected, and I'm still okay with. And then we ended up getting Jeremy Chin, which kind of took away some of the folks, angst about not getting Simmons. But Jeremy Chin is not an interior linebacker. And while some people say that Micah Parsons isn't, I think, that's where he can play, and I think he has the ability to play there. So, it's like people forget that we lost a great, on the second level. Like, you got to address that at some point, and maybe you don't have to get him in the first round, but you do need to realize that position in a 4-3 defense is important.
Agreed.
All I'm saying is this: right now, Jermaine Carter, according to the PFF grade, is the best linebacker we got.
It's limited snaps, but yeah, he's actually playing pretty well. He's been playing pretty well
since he's gotten his opportunity.
Yep.
So, like, when you think about the fact that we're going to have 3 linebackers that are going to be unrestricted free agents, we got Christian Miller. So that leaves us with Miller, Mack, Shaq, and Thompson, and Carter.
Yeah. So Jordan Mack is the wild card for me. I think this kid was playing pretty well, or he played pretty well in college. He's out of UVA. He's a young cat. I'm not saying he's going to come and solve all our issues, but he is a guy I would like to get a look at. He opted out due to COVID this year, but I'm not. If Parsons is there, I'm with y'all. Like, draft him, but we do have some guys. Chris Orr is another one. He's not on his list because he's on the practice squad, but I would definitely want to see what we have in Jordan Mack. Same with Christian Miller. They're more outside. I don't know. Miller's that tweener. I don't know where we're going to put him and how Rule's going to use him. But he was that stand up, arm in the dirt. He was kind of a tweener dude, so he may get lost in the sauce too.
Let me ask you this question. Based on our personnel, if we get Christian Miller back next year, based on how you say he plays, stand up, outside linebacker, pass rusher type of guy. If you have him back and you have Brian Burns, and we see they like to drop him and they like to rush him, like doesn't it kind of go back to the defense we were playing last year? The 3-4 alignment.
Yeah. And again, I don't know this dude. I missed his dad. Snow. Yeah, this dude. His name was escaping me. Sorry, Phil Snow. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, he switches it up, so I don't think we do 3-man fronts a lot. Obviously, we've done a lot of 4-man fronts, so there could be rotational work for him because I think he is, has a duplicate skill set as Brian Burns. Definitely not Brian Burns, but he has a duplicate skill set, so I can see him rotating in some. But I don't know. I don't think we ever go back to full time 3-4. I don't think. I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. It's a good question. But here's the cornerbacks. Any thoughts on the cornerbacks?
Draft some.
Yeah, we could use
I'm trying to do the math in my head about what we need to be drafting, and we ain't got enough room for a quarterback.
It's a lot. There's a lot.
I know. I was just about to say, man, we only have so many draft picks.
All right, let's do the count. 2 linemen. How many corners? How many folks in the secondary you want to draft? 2 linemen.
2 linemen.
How many folks in the secondary you trying to draft?
We can go with 1.
1. All right.
Corner. Probably 1 corner.
Yeah,
one corner. No safety.
No safety.
All right.
No safety.
All right. Wide receiver. How many? Wait, nope. How many wide receivers are you drafting?
1 wide receiver.
1. All right. All right. So we got 1 linebacker, 2 offensive linemen. Wait, no, I didn't even ask linebacker. How many linebackers are you drafting?
Probably 1.
It's too many needs, bro.
Right.
Yeah, there's so many needs. So that's why I feel like cornerback. Look at what Rasul Douglas did, man. We signed him off of cuts from the Eagles, man. Like we can bring in decent, even Corn Elder. It has no place on the NFL roster.
The point I'm trying to put across is that we just used up 5 of our picks. 2 linemen, a linebacker, a corner, and a wide receiver. We only have 2 picks left.
And
we haven't even prioritized those picks. Like obviously,
that's the thing, right? So we got the Panthers talking about taking a tight end. Like, dude, we're not getting a quarterback in this draft.
That's what this exercise is meant to do. It's meant to show all the holes that we have. And listen, there's so many holes that you just draft a quarterback like everybody wants to. Like, it's just not, you're not going to fix the issues that we have. It's not.
We drafted 2 last year. I mean, we drafted 2 last year. We got to let them Troy Pride's is exactly terrible. And Oliver, he can get better. He has good size. We can always sign a free agent. So
So what I'm hearing is that maybe we won't draft a cornerback this year.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down with not drafting a
cornerback.
Yeah,
so
corner.
We'll take that off the list. We got 3 more picks. We got 3 picks.
Go ahead, JJ.
If considering how many draft picks we need or how many positions we need to fill, and given the cap situation, ideally it'd be through the draft. If somebody offered you a second-round pick for DJ Moore, what you doing?
Taking it.
No.
Taking it.
No.
Taking it.
I'm not doing that.
No.
Yeah.
Definitely
Y'all
not.
are bugging,
Definitely
man. Y'all need to kill all the help we need.
So Dave
I don't hate DJ Moore. Don't do
Dave
that.
hates DJ Moore. So
I don't hate
I'm not
DJ
doing
Moore. You guys are always talking about getting draft capital. You guys are always talking about getting draft capital. You have an opportunity to get a second-round pick, and it might be a high one depending on who it is that wants DJ Moore. You ain't taking it?
It would have to be more than just a second. It'd have to be a second round, a third round, and then maybe like a fifth.
Let's be
next
frank
year.
about it. We're talking about the wide receiver position.
It has
You're
to be
not gonna
multiple.
get. There ain't too many wide receivers you get in the second-round pick for. There's not.
Yeah,
There's
well,
not.
there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot, especially young guys.
What did Randy Moss get? What did they trade? What did our Patriots have to take to get Randy Moss? It wasn't.
Well, he was already at the end of his
pick.
career, though. He was at the tail end of his career, though.
Was he?
No, he was.
Yeah,
he was still in his prime.
He was still in the prime.
Nah, he had failed years in Oakland before he went to the Patriots.
No,
he had like 1 or 2 failed years.
He dogged those years though. Like Randy.
Anyways,
and he admitted that he dogged them.
The point is, you're not going to give up DJ Moore unless you get multiple picks. Just a straight up second round, no. Now, if you tell me somebody's willing to give us a second and a fourth, or a second and a third and maybe a pick next year, like that's a different story. We can talk about that. Because
if the Cincinnati Bengals calls us up and says, "Yo, we'll give you the second round pick," we need to take that shit.
Let me add the caveat. If you don't do what's necessary, like let's say somebody offer you a second round pick with DJ, and you say, you know what, nah, man, we keeping DJ, and I'm cool with that. I like DJ.
Yeah.
But if we keep him.
You gotta pay him.
You gotta pay him.
Yeah, you gotta pay him. Yeah, I understand.
Hold on. Yeah, so I don't think paying him is going to be a problem in 2022. That's not going to be a problem. You guys saw the amount of cap space we had in 2020.
It's
2022. It's a lot. I don't think that's going to be a problem. But I will say this: I don't think DJ Moore's the guy you need to talk about trading. I think it's Christian McCaffrey the guy you need to talk about trading.
But the thing is, nobody's going to take that contract. Nobody's going to take that contract. We ain't going to get nothing for it because that other team's going to eat that contract.
Yeah, my only hesitance is that I don't understand the cap part of this. But when you look at the dead cap over the next couple of years, if you trade him,
you got to eat that money. You got to eat the guarantee. You got to eat the guarantee.
You got to eat the guarantee, and I don't think anybody in that Panthers front office now is going to eat that guarantee.
That may be true, but
that's a good,
the long-term benefits may.
What did Houston get for DeAndre Hopkins? Somebody remind me.
A 4th round pick and
oh yeah, we definitely not getting a second.
Yeah, so if you're not DeAndre Hopkins, arguably the best wide receiver in the league.
They hated him though, bro.
4th round pick.
O'Brien hated him though.
But they got dragged for that. That was a stupid ass trade. They got dragged.
It doesn't
and
matter.
He was
My
cost
point
too much
is
money.
that my point is that the value of the wide receiver position isn't that high. So if somebody gives us a second round pick for DJ Moore, you have to take it. You have to.
I don't think you have to take it. If the person you get back is not better than DJ, then what does that do? And
I don't know.
We're gonna fix all this. We're not gonna try to. We are trying to fix all this in one draft. Like we have,
bingo.
Like we're trying to.
Time is a process.
Bingo. Players this year, we don't have to.
Great point.
They did get David Johnson. They get David Johnson.
He ain't doing nothing. David Johnson ain't doing. He's washed.
They did get David Johnson.
David Johnson is washed, bro. All right, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. All right, so cornerbacks, I would like them to extend Rasul. I think he's solid. I think he got washed this week, but it happens. Happens to the best of them. But I like Rasul a lot. And if again, I'm not saying he's going to get a $5 million contract, but if that's all it takes, I would re-sign Rasul. I think he's only 25 years old. I think that's a great base for him. And then Dante, he got to be healthy a whole year. But
is Dante a free agent when?
2024. We got time. No.
No.
Oh, no,
No,
sorry.
no,
2022.
that's next
2022. Sorry,
So he has
2022.
one more year.
Correct. One more year.
Okay.
I might let him walk. I mean, he's not doing it for me. Pause.
I'm okay with him walking.
Yeah, me too. I'm cool. He can't stay healthy, man, and I feel like we put him in some messed up situations, not due to himself. But go ahead.
Dante would have to play for me in the last 2 years. What I've been wanting to see Dante play and just own the position is play nickel.
Nickel, yeah,
he's a slot.
Same slot corner. Yep,
I think he would be a great nickel guy. There's guys in the NFL now. He just need to take on the role that Chris Harris took on in Denver and now with the Chargers. If he'll commit to that position and the pay that comes along with the nickel cornerback, I'll keep him. But that's the only reason. That's the only way I'll keep him.
And that's what I was saying about we got to put him in the right position. He's been outside trying to play Julio Jones and he's been trying to play Mike Evans and that's just not where he needs to be. He needs to be on the shiftier guys, the quicker guys. I think that's where he's more likely. And obviously they play in the slot, so that's a good spot for him. We just been misusing Dante, and I think to no fault of his own, he's been getting screwed. So. So that's it for corners. Let's hit these safeties real quick. And that should strong and the free. Oh, and I got fullbacks here. Alex Armour's on his contract year too, so I don't know what y'all thinking about Armour, but he's on the contract year this year. So Jeremy Chin, obviously we know we have in him. I hate the way they grade him. I don't think it's fair just because I think they grade him as a safety, and you can't apply a grade to him like that. So I think you got to put an asterisk by that. Sam Franklin, I like Sam. I think he needs more playing time, and that's why I think that makes Justin Burris expendable. I think even if we cut Burris, you still got Sam Franklin there who played okay. I think he just needs time. And again, I'm for drafting safety. I know y'all said I don't draft a safety, but I like Paris Ford a lot. There's a couple safeties out there that I like in the draft that you can get third, fourth round. I think that could step in at that strong safety spot.
I've been looking at Cisco, but I guess Cisco is more free.
Yeah.
Nolan Turner out of Clemson, he'd be a good late round pick.
Yeah.
Really, I think when everything comes to an end, I thought Chin was going to be more of a strong, like you put him closer to the ball than a free. So I thought we needed more of a free safety. Someone on the back.
That's true.
To fly around.
Well, I think the original vision for Chin was more as a big nickel role, where he played, like nickel corner, then he would slide into linebacker, on base packages. I think that was the vision for him.
Yeah, so with 704 bound, yeah, I agree. We talking about that. I think, listen, we only got one free safety, and that's Trey Boston. So I'm okay with drafting a free safety as well. That's why when y'all was like, don't draft a safety, I was like, man, y'all tripping. I think we definitely need to look into
it. Give Kenny Robinson a chance, though?
No. I think hell no. If you get cut, bro, if you a draft pick that got cut, that's all I need to know. You done with me.
You think he really sucks?
Bro, I don't think he sucked. They thought he sucked. They drafted him and cut him. I mean, that's enough for me, bro. I mean, I'm serious. I'm being dead serious. That's enough for me. If you got drafted and you got cut, bro, that's enough for me, bro. I'm sorry.
But I mean, I wonder when I look at how Matt Rule and those guys function. Sometimes I think it's more about attitude than it's about ability, right? When I look at what they did with Eli Apple, did y'all hear what came out about Eli Apple?
Yeah, but go ahead. You can talk about it.
So, when Eli Apple played his first game of the season, and I think that must have been against the Saints or Atlanta. I can't remember which game it was, but when they showed up to practice the next Tuesday or whatever, Eli came and showed up to practice, but then he went back inside because he said that he couldn't go. And the trainers didn't believe him. They basically said, nah, he just don't want to practice. And Matt Rule said, you know what, you out of here, bro.
Yeah,
bye.
I mean, you got it.
And I kind of like that from Matt Rule, but then it made me think of, Kenny Robinson. And I'm not trying to knock the brother because I know he had some troubles, at West Virginia, which caused him to drop out of school. And that's why he was in the SFL. I wonder what his attitude is like. I wonder what his maturity is like. And I wonder if having a lack of maturity and focus or whatever is what led to him being cut rather than not being able to play the position. Because it seems like he has all the traits,
Yeah, one thing
I don't know.
Kenny is, since he had to play against, all he had to do was show out at practice, since, there wasn't no preseason. So he couldn't show what he could do against other teams and things like that. So, if you just, as you were saying, you show one side of you during like those Zoom meetings and practice and everything, and then you can't really, all you're doing is playing against your teammates. It's hard to really show what you can do. So,
yeah. So I'm not sold on Kenny. Y'all can keep Kenny. I'd rather draft somebody else.
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that.
But yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. Could be attitude issue, but I don't know. All right. So that being said, that we hit all the main. We didn't talk about special teams, but we won't get into those. But all that being said, I want y'all to look at the projected. This is just take into account no free agency. Offseason hasn't happened. This is not draft picks. This is saying what we have on the contract right now, taking that into next year. This is what the projected offense will look like. All right, so you got Teddy at quarterback, Christian McCaffrey, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore. Zylstra's the highest rated, so I went with him. Between him or Kirkwood, Ian Thomas, Trent Scott. I have Trent Scott at right. Well, I had him. Let me change that to left. And then obviously we don't have another guard in the contract, and we don't have a right tackle. So obviously, if we re-sign Moton or franchise tag Moton, he will fill that spot, make me feel a little bit better. But yeah, that's what the offense will look like. Is anybody? Are y'all cool with that? Is that within?
No, we got to take Bridgewater out and put a quarterback in, and then.
Yeah, we do.
Oh yeah,
we do.
Hey, you know what's crazy, bro? I mean, I know I'm the biggest, at least the perceived biggest apologist for Teddy in the league, right? I mean, on Panthers Twitter. But when you look at the PFF grade, and if anybody understands how PFF grades, then you know that the darker shade of green means that you're good, and you get to blue is very good.
Yep.
And I think the light green is like, you performing good, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I think it's crazy, how passionate the fan base is to have to get a quarterback in 2021, considering how our offense functions. We're pretty much on schedule. One of the best offenses in the league in terms of not going 3 and out. I think it might have been 4-man rush on Twitter who said, like, we have a really good offense from 20 to 20, and we just have to figure out how to capitalize and get touchdowns when we get into the red zone. That's been our Achilles heel all year. And the crazy part is nobody's taken into account the second guy on that list, Christian McCaffrey, has missed 11 games this year.
Yeah.
If he doesn't play on Saturday. So
he's not playing on Saturday.
Yeah, that's going to be his 11th game that he's missed this year. This whole entire offense that we have, as good as they've been at times, was designed for Christian McCaffrey to be either the first or second option. I'm not saying that Teddy is the future, because I know people think that that's what I'm all about. I'm about winning, bro. And so if you get a quarterback, that's great. If Teddy can't be the franchise, and it's looking like, he may not be that, that's fine too. But if all the needs that you talked about tonight, all those essential needs, I'm talking about not Micah Parsons, I'm talking about left tackle, I'm talking about cornerback, I'm talking about playmakers, or right tackles, guards, whatever. All these different positions we need. And we have that pick. It'll be good because I think some of these guys will get the hero they want. But at the end of the day, you have a guy who's, and I know PFF doesn't mean that, a lot to a lot of people, but it is a grade. It's something to base something on.
Exactly.
And the stats are too. We see the stats. So you have a guy that's completing 72% of his passes. I know everybody's like, we can't look at completion percentage and all that stuff. He's produced 18 touchdowns, which isn't great, to 9 turnovers. And we still have 3 games to go. And he's graded at least middle of the pack in the NFL. Go address those other needs in this year while you can as well. And then stick with this guy who is going to get his best weapon back to start 2021. And I think a lot of those games that we lost by 4 points, by 5 points, by 1 point, by 2 points, I think Christian McCaffrey is the difference in some of them. And I'm not a big proponent for his contract, but you'd be a fool to not think that our red zone offense isn't better when he's in there. He has a penchant for finding the end zone. fantasy football players love him for that.
You're right about that.
So put Christian back in the game with Teddy and the rest of these guys for one more year. If you get your quarterback, then let the quarterback sit, But if you don't, man, in 2022, you're still going to have Howell, who you may not get. You're going to have Rattler. You're going to have the dude Slovis from USC. You're going to have the guy Daniels from Arizona State. And there's going to be somebody who is going to pop onto the radar like they did, like Zach Wilson did this year, like Joe Burrow did last year.
Yep.
Josh Allen the year before that. There's somebody that nobody's even thinking about right now that's going to like rise up on the scene in 2022. And everybody's like, I want that guy. And so anyway,
all the leads that we know I'll say this. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
Go ahead. Go ahead, KB.
I was going to say, man, to caveat that, listen, I am a big proponent of getting the right quarterback. I don't want just any quarterback. And I think that's what fans, just general fans, casual fans are kind of, I don't know if they're missing or maybe they're just not being clear about it on Twitter, social media and stuff, is that we want to get the right guy. We want to, and it doesn't have to be the number 1 or number 2 overall pick. It doesn't have to be, but we want to make sure we get a franchise guy. And I have to remind people all the time, just because you're a first-round quarterback this year or next year doesn't mean you're equal to any of the first rounders in the previous years. You may be better, you may be worse. The problem is that we're looking at a situation where we legitimately, and there are not just experts, but people out there who break down film and do all kinds of analysis that see that there are actually 3 franchise guys in Lawrence, Fields, and Trey Lance. I mean, these are 3 guys, premier guys, talents with mobility, pocket presence, ability to break down defenses, and just explosiveness. Fans are afraid that if you pass up on these guys and just say, oh, well, we'll get a quarterback next year. There's going to be more first rounders next year. Well, not all first rounders are the same. Those guys next year might absolutely suck. They might not have any ability. They just might be the best quarterbacks in their class. So that's the hard part about this. The franchise quarterback position is not a position you just want to draft just to draft. It's not a position where you just, we need to fill this spot. Let's just go draft one. You have to make a concerted effort that if you find a guy that's going to be your guy for the next 10 plus years, you're going to go and do everything you got to do to get him. So that's my concern.
Let me ask this question real quick, and I just want to make sure that I understand this. Because I've been watching it, and I've been trying to do my diligence to study guys like Zach Wilson, because more so than Trey Lance, like you mentioned, Trey Lance is your third guy.
Yeah, he is. Trey Lance by far, yeah.
Yeah,
I might have him ahead of Fields. I might actually have him ahead of Fields.
Most of the people on Twitter, they want Zach Wilson, and that's their third guy, right? So they don't care about. They know that they won't get Lawrence. They know they probably won't get Fields. So their next guy is Zach Wilson out of BYU. Before the season started, nobody knew who Zach Wilson was. It was Trey Lance as the third guy, like you just said. My concern with Trey Lance, and although I've seen cut-ups of him, I've seen people break him down. I have a good friend who's a 49er fan who does film analysis. He broke down Trey Lance. The only concern I have with Trey Lance and him being as dominant as he is, and this is my thing, and it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean I'm right. It's just that I have a concern with a guy who's dominating, at North Dakota State in that conference against that talent level. Like, he's a man against boys, man amongst boys. When he comes to the league,
the thing is, North Dakota State is a perennial powerhouse, bro. Like, they've been the best team in FCS college football for over a decade.
That's where Wentz came from.
Yep.
But hey, it's not about win percentage, man. If you look at the way listen, we don't need to go down the rabbit hole of breaking down Trey Lance and all the quarterbacks film.
Yeah. The thing about Lance is that he has a massive amount of help around him at North Dakota State.
Does he though? I mean,
yeah, he does.
He does. Yes, he does.
He's got some good players. He's got some good players, but if you look at the way he runs the offense, he is very deliberate.
North Dakota State could go to the FBS tomorrow.
Yeah, it's not even about hold on. It's not even about players, right? That's the thing where you get confused. It's not even about the players. It's about what they have. Dude, they're a perennial powerhouse, bro. North Dakota State is legit.
I believe it.
FBS schools are scared to play them in their off-season, in their out-of-conference schedule. They are scared to play North Dakota State because they know they might get smacked in the mouth.
So Dave,
I got you.
real quick. Let me address something real quick. Because everybody's so, I hate the argument of cats being scared about, not getting a quarterback because only these are once in a generation type guys, and like that we can't miss out. Like that's how you stay bad. Like when you get scared of missing out on something and you reach for something because you're scared you're never going to see this type of talent again. That's what bad teams do. You have to build this team up and make sure it is in the perfect condition for somebody to come in and just take the reins.
All right.
Listen, hold on, Dave. Hold on real quick. Right. We talked about this before. Look at the guys that we talked about last year. Same thing. Everybody, Justin Herbert. Look at their team. Look what they're doing. Same guys that went and drafted quarterbacks in top 5 last year. Justin Herbert. Look at what's going on with Cincinnati. They got the best generational offense that ran that the quarterback that ran that offense. Look, but then inverse. Look at Tua. Look at Tua. Look how he's not playing that great. Tua's not playing that great at all. But his defense is amazing. His defense, and that's my point. You didn't like him. He may just have been average. My point is that he was put in a really good position. They ushered him in very slowly. They put him behind a very good defense. They have a very good offensive line. They've got weapons for him. It's a good situation. It won't matter who is the quarterback when everything around that guy is great. That's what you need to build. You just drafting a quarterback is not going to fix your issues. If you draft a quarterback, let's say we drafted Zach Wilson, he may win a couple games for us. That'll leave us just average. Then we're still an average team. We go from below average to average.
My thing about chasing quarterback is this. I remember 10 years ago, when we were the worst team in the NFL, and there was a guy that everybody wanted, that they were begging for, but that guy decided to go back to college. I think you guys know his name.
Luck. Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck. So our folks didn't want Cam. We got Cam.
Go ahead, JJ.
But he was a generational talent. He was generational.
Luck,
and we still didn't.
Look what happened to him. He's out of the league.
This is the comp I have for the situation with the Zach Wilson type. I mean, I'm digging your Trey Lance situation. But when I look at the Zach Wilson, everybody's like, Panthers culture, why you don't like Zach Wilson? What you got against him? Man, I watched him play. He has a booming arm. He is athletic enough, like we talked about. He's functionally athletic. He can escape and, get 20, 30, 40 yards if he has to. I don't think his pocket presence is all that great. I think he takes sacks he don't need to take. And typically they playing people that they're way more talented in. But the thing I have with him and the way I see this thing playing out, and I would hope that I'm wrong if he becomes a Panther, but it just reeks of Arizona, picking Josh Rosen. Is his name Josh Rosen?
Yes.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. I agree.
Yeah, so Zach Wilson is Josh Rosen to me. And then they find themselves in the next season where they have like the number 1 overall pick because that's who they trusted themselves with. I think they had Sam Bradford in tow when they picked Josh Rosen, kind of like we have Teddy Bridgewater when they want Zach Wilson. If you get Zach Wilson in here, then you think like that's the guy, and then he goes out there and he still has that big arm, but that big arm isn't accurate in the NFL. Then you're like, man, I wasted the 6th pick or I wasted the 7th pick or whatever. And then you still have to figure it out the next year. So then you're looking for Sam Howell.
That's how bad teams stay bad.
Yep.
And
that's how bad teams stay bad.
That's my biggest concern is that he can. I mean, even though guys like Josh Allen panned out well and he's playing well in his 3rd year, I still see the Josh Rosen, and I think that's who Zach Wilson is. He's just he's hyped. He looks the part. He looks like he can be franchised. I mean, even me, I still look at Josh Rosen sometimes and like, ooh, he might work out, but he hasn't, and I don't think he's
not gonna.
And so that's what I think of when I see Zach Wilson. So if Lawrence and Fields are gone, then I'm picking the best defensive player or the best offensive lineman, whoever is there at 5 or 6 or 7 to be taken, or I'm trading back. That's just how I function.
All right, great conversation. But let's move on to the defense. Here's the defense. Again, even on the offensive side, we do expect dudes to progress. This is just their grades for this year. Obviously, especially on the defensive side with the young guys, we expect them to take a step forward. Guys like Derek Brown, you expect him to get better. Guys like Jeremy Chin, you expect him to take another step. And then you expect guys like who else is out there? Yetur. You expect these guys to take steps. You know what I'm saying? So these are just their grades right now. So this is, I think we've got a solid base on defense to work with. And again, if you're talking about maybe drafting a cornerback, all these guys, the majority of the defense will be back next year. So that's a positive. You're starting to build that continuity there.
Bruh, the only person in that secondary with the ability to grow is Troy Pride Jr.
True. That's true.
Yeah.
So,
hey, I think aside from linebacker, I honestly I would not care if this entire offense this entire draft was offense. There's a couple places you can fill. We've talked about it already. We don't need to rehash it, but like safety and stuff. But honestly, this defense is actually solid. It's got a lot of potential. It's very young. All we got to do is plug and play a few free agents that we sign in the offseason, get some maybe get a key mark guy, and a defensive tackle, draft a linebacker. But honestly, the rest of the draft should be spent on offense. I'm very optimistic about our D.
So I give you that. If you give me Patrick Surtain or Micah Parsons, as the first pick, or maybe give me a great defensive player with the second pick in the draft. Everything else can be offense. I can be cool with that. I just want somebody to plug in there because to me, I always felt we were 2 players away on defense coming into the season. I thought we need a linebacker, and I thought we need a number 1 corner. If you give me that number 1 corner, or you give me a game record like Micah Parsons, then I'll be fine with the team going offensive line and tight end, whatever they need to do on offense, for the rest of the draft. I'll be cool with it.
Okay, so I agree. I think Surtain. I like Surtain a lot. I like Micah Parsons a lot. But I think the defense is getting there. They're gonna, as they should. We invested a lot of draft capital last year, so we expect them to take another step and be better. The chemistry will be there, and hopefully they'll take another step forward. So any other thoughts here before we kind of wrap this thing up? And I do this giveaway.
I still want safety.
Yeah, I'm not. I agree with you. We do safety. I gotta look at Cisco. He hadn't opted out yet, so he's still playing. So I'm letting him continue to build his tape. But I'm gonna take a look at Cisco. But I like Paris Ford a lot so far. Strong safety though. He's a thumper too. He reminds me a lot of Jonathan Abrams. A little bit lighter, but that. Jonathan Abrams, yeah. All right, so let me pull this giveaway winner real quick, and let me show y'all what y'all getting. Let me see here. Oh shoot, there we go. Let's see. All right, where is? Hold on 1 second. All right, is Lou Sanders still in the building? Lou Sanders. Let me see if Lou Sanders is here. If he don't respond, I'm gonna pull somebody else. Lou Sanders, you still in the building? Cause you won the giveaway, but if you're not gonna hit me, or in the chat, are you still not in the chat? I'm gonna have to move on. So Lou Sanders, where you at, bro? All right, so real quick, I'll give him a couple minutes. Dave, you got any final thoughts on this roster build before we close this thing out?
I'm on team #NoQuarterback, yo.
Thanks for that, D Jackson. Appreciate that. I'll take a look at Cisco. My fault. I thought he was still playing. What you say? You said team no quarterback day?
Team no quarterback, bro.
Eddie, what's up? You got anything, bro?
I will say people need to know that this is not a 1-year fix.
I agree there.
Yeah, we have time to figure this out. We aren't trying to go and win a ring next season. So with that being the case, just of course, draft BPA and see what happens. Go from there.
All right, KB, you got anything?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks, man. Thanks for bringing us on. Yo, this is good content. Appreciate all the great discussion, guys. I'm on team only one of the top 3 quarterbacks. I'm on hashtag one of the top 3 quarterbacks, and that's it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to further discussions, especially when we get around the combine and draft. Man, like this is gonna be the place to go. So make sure everybody, y'all share, like, and comment. All right, contribute. And let's build this community.
Facts. All right, Jay, no cap. You got anything?
Nah, like honestly, like I'm against drafting a quarterback completely. Like, I mean, I just don't want one at all. Like, I mean, unless we trade back, like, I mean, that's the only way I'm like kind of for it. But I just don't think we have enough picks, honestly. Like, we gotta address our other needs for sure. But appreciate y'all for having me tonight, and everything. I know I didn't get into a little bit later, but it's all good.
Yeah, no worries. All right, real quick, I lost my window. All right, JJ, you got anything?
Yeah, I just want to echo what I believe you said, Eddie. What Eddie said. I think the crazy part about this whole season and this roster and this, and our record is our record right now is exactly what people thought it would be all along, right? Mm-hmm. And for the last, what I would say 7 seasons, we've been in somewhat of a winning window. So we enter every season with the expectation of making the playoffs. And even though everything shifted in the offseason, I think for fans, they knew that we were rebranding, rebuilding, whatever you want to call it, retooling. But because of the way that the front office handled things and brought in a new quarterback, brought in Robbie Anderson, you had like this team that looked great on offense on paper, but you still had like this team that was very bad on defense on paper. Mm-hmm. And I think we came into the season, even though nobody expected the playoffs. Like, again, we thought that everybody guessed 4 to 6 wins. We are exactly where we're supposed to be.
Yep.
But we flirted with wins so often this year. 7 times, and we went 0 for 7. So it's like, because we didn't win 40, 50, 60% of those opportunities, which would have probably put us in the fringe of the playoffs, like everybody's like, oh, the team is horrible, the quarterback is horrible, we need to get a franchise guy right now. Like, no, like this is year 1 of the plan. We just got a little too close, which gave us some false sense of hope about winning soon. Yep. And regardless of whether people have been mad at the Panthers or not, whenever you look at the clock and you see that you have the ball with, a minute to go and you have opportunity to win and you come up short, everybody forgets the plan. And I think, like what Eddie said, like this is year 1. And you look at all the holes that you went over tonight, like we still have to fill them. And I don't anticipate us being competitive until 2022. And so we need to keep that in mind as a fan base, as a community that supports this team, if you still support them. It takes time, regardless of whether it's Teddy Bridgewater or your favorite college quarterback, is not going to happen in 2021. So regardless of who wins the argument of, your guy sucks or my guy's better or my plan is better, you're not going to win anything until 2022, 2023. So, all we can do is enjoy the ride together. Beyond that, I thank you brothers for having me on. I really enjoyed it. I hope I get invited back one day because I think I like this platform better than I like my little own thing I do on Sunday. So it was dope, man.
Anytime, man. Yeah, we again we do these kind of in-depth discussions. We try to do one every week. We pick a topic and do one every. It's called Zone Coverage. Obviously inspired by Kevin KB. He kind of inspired this joint. Hit me up, was like, yeah, y'all should, because we go live on Monday every Monday, but we typically, recap the game. We don't have enough time to really dive into these kind of topics. So we like to kind of, create another avenue for us to do this. And again, we try to provide something different. It's a lot of people out there doing hot take stuff, and they have these whack talking points. Like, that's cool and all, but where's the substance, right? And that's what I like to do. I like to provide substance. We can argue. We can argue about not liking Teddy, but let's bring up the facts. Let's talk substance. And you like to crack jokes. That's cool. That's funny. But yeah, let's talk substance, man. And so that's what I'm about. That's why we try to differentiate ourselves.
And you know
Real
what?
quick,
To say,
I
I
do
want to say
need to
this
pick
for
another
you
winner.
guys.
My fault.
Oh, I'm
Go ahead,
sorry.
go ahead.
I want to say that, so you're not saying that for your own program. The reason I enjoyed, or the reason I was drawn to you all, is because I'm a little bit older, right? So the stuff that goes on Twitter and the hot take stuff from like all the different Panthers media sources, and I'm not knocking those guys. That's how they get their clicks. But I do appreciate the level-headedness, that you guys present, and it made me want to be part of this situation tonight. So, hats off to you, man, for being logical and being willing to discuss it without slander. You can criticize without slander.
Definitely.
Facts.
And, so you guys do a great job of that. So kudos to y'all, man.
Yeah, man, appreciate that. Yeah, we try to be level headed. Real quick, I gotta announce the other winner. Dude did hit me up. So my 704 bound, you are the winner, and I see you in the chat right here. So hit me on Twitter, or wherever else you can find us. Hit me. Send me your address. You are the winner of my man Joey Bello. His art. Got the new Jeremy Chin art piece. Yeah, it's dope.
I gotta get that. That's dope.
Yeah, shout out to Joey Bello. 704 bound, hit me up. Yeah, man, Joey Bello, real super dope artist. I cop everything he puts out, and I always buy an extra one, so I can give one away. So shout out to. It's a nice joint too. Sorry if the glare was. Essentially, it's kind of like a radar theme, like he all over the place. So he got his little radar background. So yeah,
I'm jealous. Congrats, 704 bound.
Bello's gonna keep taking my money, man. Because you be bringing these folks.
Man, hey, I got everything he put out, bro. Everything he put out, I buy it, and I try to get an extra one. So 704 bound, hit me. Let's see, Facebook. You got Facebook? Something? Just hit me on something, or you can give me your address.
I'm about to hit Mr. Bello up right now, man.
Yeah,
I did this the last time.
Go to his Etsy joint, man. He got an Etsy. Here, let me put it in here for y'all. It's easier that way because sometimes he be a little late on Twitter. Here's the link. I'm gonna give y'all the link directly to this Jeremy Chin joint. Give me 1 second.
It's on his Twitter too, so
yeah, you can go to his Twitter and you could go to his Etsy. His Etsy is right there. I provided a link directly to his Etsy, and it's cheap. I mean, dude, it's $20. Like this joint's $20.
I'm literally about to cop one right now.
So I support that dude. He take my money every time he drops something. I immediately purchase. So 704 bound. It's this Panther Nation podcast. Hit us up on Facebook, Panther Nation podcast. And then just send us a message and follow us too. That'd be great. Matter of fact, we live on Facebook right now, so you should be able to see us. But shout out 704 bound. Yeah. So that's gonna wrap it up, man. Again, we try to provide some objective stuff here, non-biased as possible. I do got some favorites. I'm with JJ. I do like Teddy. I like his story. So I support Teddy, and I want him to succeed. There's a lot of people that don't like him, so I do have a slight bias to Teddy. I'm gonna admit it. You know what I'm saying? I do have a slight bias, but I try to be objective to it, criticize him when he needs to be criticized at the same time. I hope y'all see that. If not, y'all call me out on it and let me know. But yeah, man. That being said, we're gonna get up out of here, man. Again, we went way longer than I thought we was gonna go. I was only trying to go about an hour. My wife gonna kick my ass, but it's all good. It's all good.
It's a blast, man. It's a lot of fun.
How did the weather go, man? How's the weather looking like in the Carolinas?
It was just raining most of the day here.
Man,
just mostly.
It's dumping here in Maryland. It's snowing here.
I'm gonna be waking up shoveling about 15 inches of snow, man.
Have fun with
your
that.
daughter was gonna do it.
I'm helping her. I'm gonna help her. If I send her out there, man, that might be child abuse. I can't send her out there by herself. That might be neglect or something. It's gonna be bad tomorrow morning, bro. It's normally just me.
That's why I don't live. That's why I don't miss living in Washington D.C.
If my snow thrower was still working, I'll be in and out in 30 minutes. And I ain't fix it, so it's shovel time, man.
Yeah, man. I used to live. You said JJ, you used to live in DC.
Yeah, I lived in DC 3 times, man. I moved to Atlanta from DC.
Okay.
And one of the things that drove me out of DC was like that snowstorm that hit in like the beginning of 2014.
I was there.
I was working out of town there.
Yeah, I lived
Manassas.
in Manassas. Yeah.
Yeah, I lived at that time. I lived in Gaithersburg.
Okay, yeah, not too far. I used to work in Rockville and Bethesda all the time, so I'm very familiar with those.
Yeah, my daughter was actually born at Bethesda Hospital.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
all right.
wild, man.
All right, so go ahead. My fault. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I've been in Manassas. I used to go to Manassas so much, man. I used to be down there often. I used to just go to Rashad's crib after I was done.
I lived in Annandale.
Yep.
I lived in Annandale. And I lived in the city. I lived in the southeast. So I cut my teeth in southeast.
Okay. I hope you didn't cut nothing else out there too.
Hey, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like it looks sweet, but it ain't sweet. You know what I mean?
No, I know it's not. I know it ain't.
Nah. I know folks who's got robbed out there, man.
Let me end this broadcast because I didn't end the broadcast. Let me end this joint. Peace out. We'll catch y'all on. Dave, you got Dave got the fantasy show on Saturday.
On Sunday.
No, on Sunday, and then we going live on Saturday.
I might have to do it earlier because of the fact of the Saturday games. There's 3 Saturday games, so I might have to do it earlier. So stay tuned. Yeah,
so we going live streaming that joint on Saturday, live game reaction on Saturday night. So tune into that. But other than that, man, peace out.